no fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's gotta be biblical.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are. Welcome to Patriots Across the Pond, episode 22 of our weekly live show with JF Anon and Sapioplex. How you guys doing?
It's Thursday.
Yes. Doesn't it just feel like Thursday just keeps coming? Like every time I turn around, the time is going so fast. I'm like, oh, it's Thursday already. Oh, it's Thursday already. Like,
I think
me?
Time speeds. Oh no, I think time speeds up the older you get anyway. But there certainly seems to be some sort of quickening going on over the last few years.
100%.
Feels like it. It for sure feels like it. I mean, I don't know what they're spraying right now, but I've never in my life have gone to bed before 11 o'clock unless I'm sick. And
There's some crap.
What's that?
There's some crap.
It's terrible. The last 3 weeks, it's like I can barely keep my eyes open at 10 o'clock.
And do you guys feel like I'm doing so much? I'm taking methylated B and I'm doing all this stuff, but I feel like, I don't want to say foggy, but I don't feel as sharp. I just don't feel sharp. I don't know. I thought maybe I got a lot on my mind. I got relatives that are, sick and dying. And so maybe I'm preoccupied, but I do feel like not completely present. I don't know if it's me or it's the air, but it's weird.
No, same. I mean, I'll go to the gym, but as soon as I get there, I can't be asked. And I don't stay in there very long.
Yeah. There's no antidote, I don't think.
I don't think they're
for whatever they're spraying, because I'm pretty convinced that they're spraying stuff.
I don't think you're going to find an antidote. There may be an antidote. I think it's really cool, exotic, weaponized drugs that are doing exactly what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spoke about that a little last week, right? To quiet everyone down, I guess, for lack of a better way of saying it.
To prevent chaos.
Yeah. That would be that Paul and I've talked about that. We both came to that conclusion independently, but that it's not about making people docile, although that's kind of what it is. I think it's just preventing the outliers from really doing something stupid.
Okay.
Do you think that's also part of the reason why it's becoming more and more difficult to get through to the normies and try and wake them up? Because if it's making us lethargic, it's obviously going to be making them more lethargic as well at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe an ebb tide lowers all boats. Maybe that's what it is. It certainly feels like there's a lot of downward pressure on consciousness right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we started talking off camera. We were looking at maybe taking a look at this All Your Base video that I'll let you guys do the honors of, telling a little bit of the history of it. And then we're going to analyze some of the photos but it's got an interesting history, right?
That it does. Yeah. There's some interesting things about it. Paul and we'll go through it today, image by image. Some of the images mean stuff, some are squishy, and some are just downright like, wow, why would that be in there? And that's where the interesting stuff is. So yeah, we'll go through that for sure.
Okay.
Well,
so Paul, you were saying before the video itself, like just the fact that it showed up when it did. like pre 9/11.
Oh yeah,
one of the first viral videos.
yeah. Well, as far as I know, it's the first. It's credited as the first viral video. And Grok says it appeared in January 2001. So I'm not sure what November 2001 or 2000 was in my brain. But
I had the same thing. That was my recollection of it, was that it was 2000, that it, like the fall.
yeah, I mean, beware of your sources, because when we did this, 3 years ago, we did really careful analysis of it, and both of us are remembering November very clear. I'm remembering that crystal clearly. Like, it is November 2000. Something about that, at least something about that, and I'm pretty sure it was the release date when it first appeared. Now everything is saying January of 2001.
Interesting.
But I mean, look at all of the Mandela effect bullshit that happened, where you can find evidence like, no, the Fruit of the Loom, it did have a giant horn of plenty in it.
Yeah.
Right. They say, oh no, it didn't.
Yeah, I remember that.
You have the pizza box, washing machine door, and Lilo and Stitch, which is obvious BS. So it looks like somebody's trying to convince you that history is different than it is. Well, because history is different than it is.
Yeah.
So this may be another Mandela effect, kicking the nuts.
Yeah. Interesting. So do you want a little intro into the video then before we play it?
Well, sure. So it came out, and I think the first time, if people in the audience are familiar with it, if you've seen it, it's like this. It's hilarious, right? It's funny because they've taken everyday things, like a cornflakes box, and they've somehow worked in the words "all your base are belong to us." The origin of the video itself, or the origin of the initial the intro, is from a Japanese video game called Zero Wing. And I'm trying to find notes on that. I'm sure I have it somewhere from when we did the whole thing before. Here we go. No, that isn't it. Oh man, I've got links for the original post of this thing. It was on Newgrounds. Anyway, this was November of. Paul, we're not wrong. This was November of 2000, but it didn't really take off until the video was uploaded on February 16th.
Okay, so where did it appear?
Newgrounds.com.
Okay, so it did appear on the internet.
Well, yeah, newgrounds.com, sure, internet.
Okay, because I just asked Grok, what date did All Your Base Belong to Us first appear in public, BBS or internet? And it said All Your Base Belong to Us first appeared in public on the internet January 26, 2001. So Grok's just wrong.
Well, yeah, who knows? I mean, there are all kinds of different dates. Grok could be,
Yeah, Grok is going off of something else. But I mean, if you found a reference going back to November of 2000, and Grok is saying January of 2001, it demonstrates to you don't necessarily trust what the authority sources say, because they're often wrong.
I think the key point to think about, though, is that All Your Base came out pre 9/11, because there is one image in this whole thing that evokes the whole 9/11 stuff. We'll get to that for sure. So yeah, just notice all the images. They go by kind of fast, but notice the images. Some of them are inexplicable. Some of them I couldn't find any sauce on, or I couldn't find any meaning, even if I did find with the original photo. But yeah, we'll go through it. It'll be good. You're muted, Stu.
Sorry, I did have this on full screen, but I just minimized it again for a quick look. And the one I pulled up is 3.4 million views, funnily enough, 17 years ago. So
17. Oh, that's why they changed it to January. It's 17 years ago.
Oh, maybe. And I just looked up on ChatGPT, and it says December 16th, 2000, early forum thread titled "All Your Base Are Belong to Us" appears online.
So now we have December of 2000.
Yeah, so now we have 3 different times.
Yeah. So, but this, yeah. Okay.
The more you know.
So
Exactly.
So the company that did this, Zero Wing, there was something to do with the Japanese creator. Do you remember any of this, Paul? I just don't.
I can't remember anything about the creator. The main thing was that I had, when I started working on iPet Goat, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 months before we started digging into All Your Base, I knew that there was something in All Your Base, but I couldn't figure out what it was. And I was chewing on iPet Goat, writing it up, I think, and you figured out while I was doing that how to decode All Your Base. Because I would have never guessed that, but you started looking up the images and finding the originals and looking at the differences between them and said, "Oh my gosh, there's all the data." And I went, "Oh."
Yeah, there was some really strange stuff. When I started going through, well, these images, what do they really mean? You got the Earth, and then you've got the Hollywood sign, which we all kind of knew, like the Hollywood stuff. But
remember the hours we spent on that Hollywood sign trying to figure out the address of where the photo was taken?
I've got it. I spent a lot of time in Google Streets, man. I can tell you right where that photo was taken from.
Yep.
We
nailed the house and the balcony of where the photo was taken from.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. All right, let's play the video then, shall we?
Let's do.
What happened? Someone set up us the bomb. We get signal. What? Main screen turn on. It's you.
How are you, gentlemen? All your base are belong to us. You are on the way to destruction.
What you say?
You have no chance to survive. Make your time. Ha ha ha. All your base, all your base are belong to us. All your base, all your base are belong to us. All your base, all your base are belong to us. All your base, all your base are belong to us. All your base, all your base are belong to us. All your base, belong to us. All your base, all your base are belong to us. For base justice. Take off every bit. You know what you're doing. Take off every bit. You know what you're doing. Take off every bit. For base justice. Take off every bit. You know what you're doing. Take off every bit. All your base, all your base are belong to us. All your base, all your base are belong to us. All your base, all your base are belong to us. All your base,
Yeah, excellent. I've seen those two footballers there. That's all your balls are belong to us, isn't it?
Yeah. I actually dug up and figured out which teams those were. They were German Bundesliga. Yeah.
By the way, I put in the chat another. I got Grok to look deeper into the date on that. It says, oh yeah, November or December of 2000 was when the original, the first version of it showed up. And then now we also have February 16th, 2001. So anywhere in that 4-month time frame, you can trace it back. But November of 2000 is now that's 10 months before 9/11.
Right.
And that's relevant because there's an image in there that appears to be a direct reference to 9/11.
I wonder what the numbers are from all those dates that are coming up to 9/11. Like, you know what I mean? Like how many days, or I wonder if there's anything in there, because they're pretty specific dates. It's not, you know what I mean, that are coming up, like December 16th, February something.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing from what John and I have found, not just from all your base, but from everything we've looked at, is this whole thing is an unbelievably complicated tapestry of synchronicities. Boy, that sounded very erudite. But it's like the Police song, Synchronicity and Synchronicity 2. When you look at the Q drops, they say, oh, everything synchronizes, is making tacit predictions and plausibly deniable, things, right? Okay, the entire media space is full of the same crap in a slightly different way. And there's no way it's possible that this is an accident. Somebody intentionally seeded all this stuff for all these things to line up. And the question is why?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. We'll just go for just one thing I did notice on this clip here, where it's got ha ha ha. The audio only went, well, it's got ha 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 there, but the audio only said ha ha ha. I don't know if that's relevant to anything.
I didn't know. I think that footage was from the original Zero Wing. So, and I think the audio was too. It might have just been an English thing.
It seems like there's no accidents in any of this. It's very it's very meant. Yeah. Like they don't let anything kind of pass. Just, oh, all right, that's not right. Especially from what you guys have dug up on so much. There's always some kind of intent and specific reason.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the video game industry probably 5 or 6 years after that game came out, and given the budget of a game like Zero Wing, and then the size of the markets in Japan versus the United States, no game publisher would skimp on the budget for the US version because it was 10 times the size of the Japanese market. So for them to do such a horrible translation is unthinkable. And there's stuff in the translation that's just really, really awful. Like, can it actually happen in reality that a translation that bad would be released? Like, somebody would have to be on crack, which brings me to the song It's So Cold in the D, which was actually released and published and sold in retail. Can that actually happen? Not really.
Right.
It's so cold in the D. How the fuck do we supposed to keep peace? Yeah, we can play that one later too. That's
like abuse. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny though. Somebody set us up the bomb.
Somebody set up us the bomb. It's up us.
Set up us the bomb.
Yeah, somebody set up us the bomb is the grammar in that line. Like, you have to really try to be that bad.
Right.
You have no chance to survive. Make your time. No punctuation. Oh, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to go through each of the images?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got my notes. This has been a long time since I've gone through this. So keep in mind that when Paul and I originally did this analysis, we were coming at it from where we still thought there were the white hats and the black hats, and that you had the duality narrative and all that. It's the narrative, and it's the narrative that people are supposed to see. We just kind of think that there's more going on higher up in the another shell above this. That's what we call the zoids, but we don't need to even talk about that.
Plato's cave has multiple caves.
Yeah. So this first image, obviously it's Earth. It's the whole world. I thought it was interesting that this is Africa. I don't know what it means. I just know that it's not a perspective where it's showing the Western world at all.
Or Japan.
Or Antarctica. Kind of having because the Earth is really tilted, because the equator is somewhere up here, right? So it's like the Earth is really turned, and so you can see a chunk of Antarctica. Maybe there's something there.
We're looking up the Earth's skirt. We're looking up the Earth's skirt.
Antarctica is Earth's sphincter. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we're looking at its ass.
So as we go through this, I don't know that we need to go through every single image in depth and try to figure out what it means, because I don't remember half the stuff that we originally were thinking, and I'm not sure that was even accurate. It's not the term we want to use, but I'm not sure that was right then. But I think it tells a message. So the second one, let me get to my notes. Okay, so this is the Hollywood sign that's replaced. So I spent time on Google Streets to try to figure out where this was taken. So this is the original. Here's an enlarged version of the original picture. And our initial thought was, well, this is the white hats telling the bad guys they know about Hollywood, all your base. I always thought it was interesting that the radio towers were here, and that the U.S. Army base, what was that called? Lookout Mountain? Was that what that base was? That Frank Zappa, was it Zappa?
Oh,
there.
Yeah, maybe it is Lookout Mountain. I'm not certain, but that does sound right. It's also a movie studio.
Yeah, certainly was a Four-Pog studio. But this photo was taken from a spot in the Hollywood Hills. And I think it was here.
John and I spent hours trying to figure out where the photo was taken from.
It's the only place I could get to that actually had the right perspective of where the mountain was. This tree right here was a lot smaller. You can go back to that if you want. This tree, I think it's a little bit different, slightly different perspective, but the address of this is 3235 Durand Drive.
Durand.
So
I wonder if that's a reference to Duran Duran.
Oh, it could be from
Barbarella.
God, it all relates. Anyway, so you get the Hollywood sign in there. So there's some evidence or some pointing toward Hollywood, like, oh, we own Hollywood too. This one, there's an article that apparently this Kellogg's Corn Flakes came out in 1997 around the time of the special editions of Star Wars, only released in Canada, which explains the bilingual packaging. You can't see it that closely, but you can see that it's 625 grams, which would never be in the US. And there's a 3D puzzle on the back. Oh, do I have that? Okay.
That is a 3D puzzle.
It is a 3D puzzle, and apparently it's Darth Vader holding his fist in front of him, like, no. It's weird. So that the image in the show shows, you can't say, it's actually 525 grams. The actual image of the box that I found online separately is 400 grams.
Why is it different?
I never looked into that. I've got a dead eBay link with this archive.
It could also just be two different sizes of the box.
Yeah.
So we don't know if that's important.
Yep.
We don't know if any of this is important. How's that?
I mean, you're right. Yeah. What else did I find? I don't know. The fact that it's Jabba the Hutt. Jabba's a smuggler. Han Solo was kind of a smuggler. They're both sort of outlaws. I don't know if that's relevant or not. Part of our original thought in this whole thing was that this whole video was a message to the black hat, more like the foot soldier guys, like, hey man, you guys are headed down a bad route here. We already know about you. Why don't you come in now?
Yeah. Give yourselves up. Life will be better.
Yeah. All right. So next image, a flooded. Oh, watch the water, right? A flooded parking lot. Definitely U.S. because the car is a U.S. car. Cannot find the original provenance on this, although Yandex pulled up multiple examples of a similar pic with the same color fire plug. It said hand car wash, which is kind of funny because why would you need a car wash in a flood? But, the thing got flooded. Oh, there it goes. Look at that. I have it. Haha. I guess that is the same picture. Okay, so I did find it. This is my first time going through this in forever.
Maybe you're washing your hand with your car. I mean, we make assumptions like that.
Washing your hand with your car. All right. Next image is this sign. So the original photo or the original location is I-87 South near Albany, New York. So the original sign is over here is Albany and Boston, New York and Buffalo. And I'm reading my initial thoughts on this. It doesn't matter which direction you go, you're on the way to destruction. We own all your base here. We own all your base here. Come in from the cold. That was the original message that we thought. So here's the provenance. There's that sign. I go back to the original. Pretty much the same thing, right? Except the exit. Some of this has changed. The exit 25 mile an hour thing is on the right in the viral video. It's on the left over here. No idea what that would mean. It might have been that way back when. The next, do I have these in order? I must.
You know what that picture reminds me of? I know it's so random, but it does remind me of Jenko olive oil in The Godfather when they hang the sign up.
Yes, that was you know what? That was initially what I thought. It was like, this is like some import export kind of a mob thing.
Yeah, like a front.
Yeah, and I can't find this anywhere. Oh,
you know what? Going back to the last sign where you said those two things were switched, they may have been switched in the images just as a hint for how to decode the images.
Like opposite, like mirror.
Well, like we're changing stuff in images, right?
Yeah, they could be.
We found evidence of all sorts of hinting like that, where they do things that are just a little bit askew, just to get you to notice that they're doing things that are askew. So you look for the other things that are askew.
Right.
Yeah.
So that I had a Word document with all my notes on it, and it ends here. So we'll just go through the rest and look.
We're gonna make stuff up. How about that?
Virgin eyes. Eat more chicken, Chick-fil-A. I don't know. I mean, some of the video I think is just meant to be funny.
Well,
maybe does it have to do with our food supply? Maybe
they covered up the teats.
The agriculture belongs to, like we're in control, or we have that.
Oh, that's a thought. That could be.
Could be.
Dairy /
beef,
or chicken, because it was referred to Chick-fil-A.
Well, I mean, if you're saying all your base belong to us, that means we're in control of everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Next. George Bush, all your base belong to us. This was put up as a joke, as I recall.
Okay.
That they actually put Bush and then they put Gore 2000. And then 1, 2, 3 hire, opening job, proofreader. So it was meant to be a marketing thing. Like obviously somebody screwed this up. on purpose.
Yeah.
Do you think that means we own Bush Jr.? He has capitulated to us,
or that they or the whole thing's a show and they control everything.
They control both sides of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because when we had the pictures and the video, all that swamp opening the envelopes at the funeral, it looked like Bush was the one that had turned on them all there.
It looked like that, but remember, all of those things about that funeral are assumptions.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming to all these conclusions, and nobody has proof of any of it.
Yeah, that's right.
So I've actually clipped a thing. There's a quote from the guy with the ad agency. We put up a billboard with Bush's face and said Gore 2000. Everyone thought it was the biggest campaign blunder in the history of U.S. politics, but it was actually clever advertising. They fixed the billboard after a few days to add the phrase "today's job opening." So it started out as the top one, and then after a few days, they made it the bottom one. Now it's funny that All Your Base would have captured the original, even though it was only up for a couple of days.
Yeah.
But
Well, and also they're showing you once again we're replacing text, and we're hoping you find the original to see what was under it.
exactly. And maybe we're supposed to be focused on Gore, not Bush, because that's what's missing.
Or maybe you're supposed to be focused on the fact that what you see isn't necessarily what's actually going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
All right.
Because remember, Gore was all about this whole climate change bullshit. So,
Well, he also said he invented the internet.
and he invented the internet. Exactly. All these ridiculous things. So, or were they ridiculous, or was he supposed to say that? But he's kind of like missing. And so that might say even the hoaxes that are being, perpetrated, everything belongs to us.
Yeah, I mean, another way to read Al Gore is Al is capital A, lowercase l, which looks like AI, right?
Yes.
Right. And the last name is Gore, like a horror movie. And so maybe it's just a reference to the AI Gore we're watching right now.
Yes.
Information superhighway.
So, I mean, I know we haven't been through all the slides yet, but are some of these edited pictures, and some of them are actually real signs or that were put there?
I don't think any of them are real signs. I don't think there's any real sign that says All Your Base anywhere.
Yeah, it's all edited with a paint program.
Yeah.
Notice how I did not say Photoshop. Anyway.
Didn't exist, did it?
Oh, yeah. Photoshop goes back to the 90s.
You would actually know that.
Yes, because I was in that industry and my parents were in pre-press. And yeah, I can tell you horror stories about Photoshop and Illustrator.
Love and Light says All Your Base are belong to us is just bad grammar.
Well, yeah, that's the point.
Actually, it would be poor grammar, wouldn't it? But it would be, but yeah, it's meant to be English. The English translation. This is what Paul was saying earlier. Like, why would a Japanese company, knowing this thing was meant for the huge U.S. market, not ask somebody?
Well, not only that, but the way the business model of that works is they're almost always working with a U.S. affiliate, because the Japanese companies don't have the publishing infrastructure in the United States. I mean, unless you're Nintendo or somebody huge like that, which they weren't. So what would have happened is they would have made a licensing agreement with an American company. The American company would have managed the localization, so the translation, right? Yeah. And there's no way. I mean, you can't be retarded enough in an American company to green light that script.
No. And I was in I was in the toy business for a long time, so it's all connected. So yeah, and usually if you go back, the American companies are already working with them. Like they're even though maybe the Japanese stuff came out first, they're already in development with the American for the American market. So you're absolutely right. It's very.
Well, it was probably pretty expensive to do the port, because In Japan, they were on the PC98 platform, which is hardware incompatible with the IBM PC. It's very close, but it's hardware incompatible. And so they would have had to have really good developers doing the port. Actually, was it a PC game or was it a console game? If it's a console game, ignore what I just said, because that's completely different. But still, even just the localization, even just translations, there's no way anybody would have greenlighted that for the US market.
Right.
No. So the next image is another Al Gore. All your base are belong to us. I don't have any provenance on this. It's obviously some interview and they've photoshopped, paint, whatever it is, did a middle finger there. I think this lends more toward the idea that the Bush Gore thing was a complete illusion.
Yeah.
They control both sides of it.
Yeah.
Al Gore saying all your base are belong to us, and he invented the internet. And
he invented the internet. And actually, nobody remembers this, but during that campaign, I think there was a Snickers ad where the Democrats said, "Wow, well, we invented the internet," and I think the Republicans said, "Well, we invented pants." It was one of the funniest commercials. Anyway,
that's good.
Sounds like something they'd say.
So the next video is this. It looks like a protest, right? You know what is this? You know what you're doing. Oh yeah, this is one of the lines from that transcript, the English transcript. I found the original, and it's an Al Gore. It was the protest when they were doing all the hanging Chad recounts.
Okay.
Gore, Lieberman, revote, whatever. But it's the same picture.
We need to get a round of applause for John for being able to find all this crap. Like, I would have never been able to find this stuff.
Yeah. It was so stupid. Like, I had to do it though. It was like, okay, if I'm going to look up one of these images, I'm going to look up all of them. I want to figure out where it's all coming from. Okay, so
how many people remember Lieberman?
Yeah, I do.
Not until I saw that sign.
Yeah, very forgettable man.
Jeb Bush was governor of Florida at the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeb.
Okay. So that's just the context around. So I don't know. I mean, you've got 3 images in that video that talk about Bush Gore in 2000.
Yeah.
Maybe that's saying, hey, all that fuss around that, it was all 100% contrived. Okay, so this one's interesting, right? So you have these guys. I located this image too, and it's funny because look at this. UFOs.
Right. Compared to the UFO narratives we've been seeing for years, there's no way the UFO narratives are an accident. God knows what's actually going to happen with it, but why is that this?
Well, maybe that's what you people were meant to uncover. Is to find these signs and find out what was written behind all your base that belong to us.
Yeah. I think that's one of the main things about this video is being able to look through it and figure out what the originals were. So what are they referring to? So there's a lot of messaging in this whole thing, right? You've got Bush Gore, you've got Hollywood, Jabba the Hutt, and Eat More Chicken, but now you got UFOs. I think it's fascinating, and especially right now, like how timely is that? The UFOs are real. The government knows about it. They're talking about releasing information.
Yeah.
And by the way, for the record, if you throw a rock and someone sees it and doesn't know what it is, it's a UFO.
Yeah, unidentified flying object. All right, so Chinese food, all your base are belong to us.
We spent hours on this.
Yeah. I found the original image. It's from an ad for Sauza Tequila in Playboy, 45th anniversary issue.
There's so much in that image. It's unbelievable.
You got a fortune cookie. You've got life is harsh. That wasn't chicken. That's
you want to know something? From where I'm sitting, You see the 2 dots on the left, and then underneath the chopstick, it's like it. To me, it reminds me of the Frazzle Drip Wilson thing.
Oh, life is
That-
hard.
That looks like blood.
It goes even deeper. Look at the colors on the plate: red pill, blue pill, and Q.
Yeah. And bottle of tequila there. There's a lot going on in Mexico right now.
The
As well.
chopsticks make an X, and
Yeah.
X
Yeah.
is very relevant for lots of reasons that, like,
Wow.
people probably don't know about Theodore Roosevelt's diary. When his wife and daughter were killed, he just has an X in his diary on that day.
Yeah, she died in childbirth, right?
Oh, were they not killed? Oh, maybe. Yeah. Details.
I don't remember now the details. I think Pershing lost his wife and at least one kid when their house burned down. But
I'll ask Grok so I know what to think.
Well, because Teddy Roosevelt had Alice, right? That was his oldest daughter. Then he had the other kid. Then didn't he get remarried?
I think he
Yeah.
did. I think he
Died. Now
Yeah.
I didn't know how she died. Did she die in childbirth? The first
Teddy
one.
Roosevelt. Let me look.
Alice's mom.
AI is about to tell us what to think.
Good. I'm tired.
The light has gone out of my life is when he wrote. His mother died of typhus, and his wife Alice died at the age of 22, giving birth to her namesake Alice.
Died of Bright's disease.
Died of what?
Alice Hathaway Lee Roosevelt, his wife, died of Bright's disease at the age of 22. Wait, how old was he? She was only 22. Okay.
Wait. Oh boy, Bryce's kidney. It's called the dropsy, edema. 1884. He was like 1856. So
Yeah, she did not die from childbirth. She died of Bright's disease shortly after giving birth.
Oh, okay.
2 days later. And there's an X in his diary.
Oh,
So
wow.
you can find X references all over the place, like, I don't know, X.com, XAI. You know, I mean, why are the chopsticks an X? Could mean nothing also, by the way.
Yeah.
So we're talking about like extreme trivia interpretation. And so all of this is plausibly deniable. All of it could be just nothing. But when you start looking at the patterns of all of it, you say, why does it all lean the same way?
Could it just have, very simply put, have to do with China?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, it is Chinese.
Yeah. Fortune cookies, chopsticks.
Telling you your fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might need some tequila to be able to metabolize this.
Because life is harsh.
Yeah.
All right. The next one, all your base. Again, sorry for the blurriness of all this. Rain and Imposter. I looked this up, found the original.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting because it's G.I. Joe and Law and Order is one of the names. You remember it was Rain and Imposter?
Yeah.
So I don't know I don't know what we ever decided Dusty might be or what we ever.
My favorite interpretation is Dusty Rain and Imposter Law and Order. So in other words, you put those things together and you get basically Rain is propaganda, like, and it's going to be dirty and awful. So we're suffering awful propaganda, and we're suffering the illusion and imposter of law and order. And that pretty much describes the story we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Plus, why change? Like, if you're doing an all your base video that's just supposed to be funny, why would you change those things? You wouldn't bother taking any time doing this. These things are done deliberately.
Yes.
Yeah, it is interesting, right? Here's Rain and Imposter. I mean, they took the time to actually put that in the same. Well, I guess they put it in the same font as all your or belong to us, the Courier, but pretty similar, right? God, I never looked. Ages 5 and up. Yeah, that's all kind of the same. All the same implements there.
So meant for most adults.
What's that?
So meant for most
with accessories to achieve every mission objective.
And someone in the chat said, I see the word loot with a backwards L. I don't know if that's she referring to this photo or.
Yeah, 2 I saw.
Where?
Go back to the original.
This? Oh, sorry, this.
Yeah, you've got their buttons, the O, the hat, and the T.
Oh, LOOT. Oh, maybe.
Mm.
Although because this is the original, I don't know. Maybe.
Interesting.
I'm just thinking with that Chinese one as well. If it wasn't chicken, what was it?
Yeah. It's McDonald's red goo or whatever the hell that was.
Beyond Meat.
Yeah.
I mean, could any of this relate to all the other stuff with the kids, the adrenochrome, the organ harvesting,
everything, or as far as John and I have been able to tell, everything about the overall narrative is connected.
Okay.
All right. So the next one is one of like maybe 6 that have to do with Windows, Microsoft Windows.
Yeah.
And there's a Bill Gates in there too. We can talk about it now. I suppose we can. All of these references to Windows and Microsoft, all your base are belong to us.
Surveillance.
Do you think the NSA doesn't have backdoors into all this stuff? Surveillance. And if this was a message to the black hat foot soldiers, like, hey, we see what you're doing. We own Microsoft. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, in the current understanding that people have of how the government works, the entire tech industry would have to be highly controlled by NSA.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no other way to do pervasive surveillance for national security threats. So
yeah, like think about. I remember Paul pointed this out right around the same time. You called me. You sent me the logo for the chips. Intel military intelligence. Intel
Inside. They did like a 10 or 20 year marketing campaign to promote Intel Inside, and basically they're telling you, yeah, the intelligence agencies are inside your machine.
Yeah,
that is so obvious, right?
Yeah,
and we don't see it.
Well,
I mean, you guys saw it, but I'm just saying the average person is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I spent my entire life in the computer industry, and started in Silicon Valley, and I saw this from the inside, and it's a Swiss cheese.
Wow,
it's
backdoors everywhere.
Yeah.
Speaking of backdoors, that's the next image. This is obviously it might have been the British Open. I had notes on this. I don't know.
We spent hours on this too.
Yeah, I did. I knew which hole it was. I knew which golfers it was. I don't have the info anymore. I don't think it's super relevant other than some guy running away from the cops, a naked human.
Yeah, and he has a message on his back.
Oh, wait a minute. I've got it in the next image. Check this.
Oh, wow.
British Open, St. Andrews.
St. Andrews.
George Bush and Prince Andrew clapped. They were there.
Yeah.
Wait.
Andy Pandy.
St. Andrews is where?
Scotland. St. Andrews Golf Course is in Scotland.
Okay.
And so,
is that John Daly in the green?
It is, yeah. I'm reading this thing as John Daly approached the 18th green. I got ready and put on a cloth cap. This is the streaker. I found it in an allotment in Maidenhead. Da 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 da. Gary, one of my mates, had earlier etched onto my back with a compass marker and a pen that said 19th hole.
Yeah. Well, and also look at how visible John Daly's been over the last several years. Having to do with Trump.
Yeah.
Is that an accident? Because this was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
John Daly just won the tournament. He jumps onto the course. His wife is giving Daly a hug. He wanted to shake his putting glove. And
it's really weird. Again, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I'm looking at the bottom picture, and if you squint your eyes, it almost looks like a creature. It almost looks like a like a snake or a creature. Like if you just blend the two people together. I don't know, like a spider. Almost looks like a spider.
It almost looks like a human centipede.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, thank you. That.
Yeah, I remember when people started telling me about that.
Yeah, that's
yeah. Who had the great idea to make that movie?
I
And then
don't
they
know.
made sequels to it.
because it made money apparently.
Or so they tell us.
So the streaker says basically he's running past all these people, and then he saw George Bush and Prince Andrew clap and cheer as I ran past. Yeah, I don't know. There it is again. So yeah.
Well, there you go. That brings George Bush and Prince Andrew back into the spotlight again, doesn't it? As we've
Yeah,
seen.
it's odd that we're doing this
Prince
today.
Andrew, but Bush in previous slides.
Yeah. Yeah. Odd that we're doing this today. Timing. All right. So this is the next one. This took me forever, and I don't know that I think I found the airport. It's in Asia. It might even be in China.
You did find it because you tend to focus on the plane in the foreground, but if you look just behind it, there's an upside down plane, and that only happened once.
Yes. Yeah. You got a plane wreckage, and this plane is taking off right next to the bones of another plane.
Yeah. John found the airport. He found the event.
I did. I don't have my notes, so I don't know where the hell those went, but
What plane? What airline is this?
oh, it's a good question. It took me a while to find it based on the livery on the tail.
I think it's I can't remember.
Is that Cathay Pacific or no?
I don't think so. I want to say it was a more obscure Asian regional airline.
Yeah.
But I can't. I don't know where the hell that went.
Yeah, I think on this image we couldn't figure out anything about what it meant.
Other than that upside down plane, like there was a crash and the life keeps moving. I don't know. This next one, I remember looking into this. People are like, well, could that be JFK's plane, JFK Jr.? And it looks the profile, and I think the actual plane is the same model, and that was a fairly common model.
Piper Cub.
Yeah, the thing that is interesting about this is that you couldn't pull a banner like that behind a Piper Cub. So they must have replaced the airplane.
Well, and that banner's way too big for the airplane.
Yeah, the drag, you couldn't do it with a Piper Cub. These planes, I remember digging into this. I was kind of fascinated because I never thought about it before. But in order to be able to pull a banner like that, you have to have a plane with some insane amount of power because of the drag, right? If an airplane needs to move forward in order to lift, right, for the Bernoulli effect and the lift on the wings, and if you can't go fast enough, you don't go up. And so
maybe that's the meaning of this is that, boy, this all your base are belong to us stuff is a real drag.
It's a real drag, or it is. Look, there's no possible way this show is real. This can't happen like this. But your eyes are telling you that you're seeing it. You're seeing this little Piper Cub pull a plane. I don't know.
Believe your lying eyes.
You are watching a movie.
Yes.
Yeah. So the next is a little kid writing sentences. Never did find the original on this, but it's the tree that reminded me of a book that we read to our kids. Chicka chicka boom boom.
Yeah.
Think about the Stray Kids song that's popular right now called Chick Chick Boom.
The what song? Who?
There's a Stray Kids. Stray Kids is a K-pop band. It's like the most popular K-pop band right now. And they have a song that's really popular called Chick Chick Boom.
Interesting. I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse that I don't follow K-pop at all. Probably a blessing.
It's a blessing.
Probably a blessing. Anyway, I thought it was interesting because maybe it's about education and the kids. Like we control all of it.
It's also that vent. I don't know if that, but when you think of vents, like you think of, I don't know, something in there? Is the air coming out? Is somebody watching?
Well, also, one of the things I found interesting about that is look at the prominent G and M and think about Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's related to kids. You've got GM there. Why? Like that tree's been photoshopped in there or put in with a paint program. The kid's being punished because he has to write sentences. Right. So you have a kid and then you have a really, really oddly placed air vent.
Yeah.
So what the hell's the message there? I don't know. Looks like an Asian kid, by the way.
There's no way you could write the word all. You have to like lean over the tree.
I was just going to say that.
Well, yeah, of course you could do it. Look, he did it.
What's the book about again? I remember reading that to my kids.
Chicka chicka boom boom, will there be enough room? Something like that in the tree. It was about letters and how letters and formed words and stuff like that. I think.
Oh, maybe about language and your understanding of what's being said.
Well, it was written in 1989. Features letters of the alphabet racing up a coconut tree in a rhythmic, playful chant, only to tumble down in a heap, making it classic for teaching letter recognition and phonics in a fun, memorable way. Bill Martin and John Archambault, Louis Elhert. Those were the...
It sounds like a bird language reference, John.
It does, actually.
So did you take all the letters off the tree and put them in anagram generators while you were doing it?
I didn't, because you couldn't. Even the imagery in the original video is hard to tell.
Yeah.
Because the image is blurred, so you don't know exactly what letters.
Yeah.
Are there, but
G and M are really prominent, but the rest of them are really hard to decipher.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
The next is Rivera, Geraldo Rivera. Boy, I looked for this one too.
Yeah, we couldn't find shit on this.
I don't know if that's Bob Costas, but okay, Geraldo's show, but he's not pictured. Guest host and two other guests. If we can ID the other two, we can figure out. Yeah, this one seems purposeful and not comedic in nature. So there's some reason, whatever show this was, he was not the guest host, or he had a guest host, and it made me wonder if whatever they were discussing that time on the show, I just couldn't find it. I spent way more time than I should have trying to locate that exact show.
Geraldo's career also has some real boners in it. I mean, like when he did that thing where he was going to open up the vault and there was just nothing in it.
Al Capone, I watched that shit live.
Yeah,
I saw that too.
Yeah, and also when he was in the Middle East and he completely blew the intelligence on that operation, and they took him off the playing field. It's like, are those accidents or are those elevating Geraldo's identity for some reason?
You remember when he had his nose broken on the Geraldo show by the white supremacist guy?
Yes. Yeah. And also he was, I guess the show was on CNBC, but then he went over to Fox, right? That because during, like, he's been on a lot of different networks through the years, local, national, and so this would be the time when I guess his show was on that network. But as we know, we know that network was so biased.
They're all biased.
Yeah, no, but I mean that one, like, you know, literally, it's like, you know,
was promoted as biased. Yeah,
exactly.
He also has an absolutely absurd mustache.
Yeah. Everything about him. Didn't he? Weren't there photos of him that he sent to people like Anthony Weiner did?
Yeah.
Him in a towel and shirtless and stuff.
Yeah, all posing and stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he's from New York, you know, so he's been married. Was he married like 5 times, 7 times, something like that? But like there's all this like 6 degrees of separation of people, you know, that know his wife, know this, because one of his wives was part of a family that owned a very big called Lefrak. I forgot her first name, and it's like Lefrak City is a bit, you know, is a real estate area over here in Queens, I believe. But he's got like some weirdness there, because he come on the scene. He came on the scene busting the nursing homes and the abuse and what was going on in the nursing homes here in Queens. I think that's what put him on the map when he was still kind of hippie-ish, you know.
Yeah.
But
Is he still about? I haven't seen him for a while.
I've seen him for a long time because he was on Fox of last, right? That was, I think, the last gig he had.
I remember him in the last Trump term. He was definitely an anti-Trump guy.
Yeah.
I think it's just a node in the narrative.
Yeah.
An outrageous one at that.
I'm kind of glad he hasn't been seen for a while.
Yeah, same.
I do remember something about on that white supremacist show on the Geraldo Rivera show. I think that's what it was called.
Jerry Springer, Geraldo Rivera. What's the difference?
Well,
Nick
there
got
is
sucked right in the nose.
well,
Like, right on
Springer's
air.
dead. So Jerry Springer's dead. Is the difference. Geraldo, some guy was on there calling him Jerry Rivers. Like, your real name is Jerry Rivers, isn't
Right.
it? You know, and it probably is. I couldn't find any reference of that. I remember trying to look that up.
Well, supposedly, I think one of his parents is Jewish and one of them was Hispanic. And I think he took the Hispanic thing because it was cool, you know, back in the late 60s, early 70s to have that, you know, he wanted to have that ethnic thing.
Yeah.
But so I don't know if the Rivers, I think it was, somewhere. If you look that way, maybe you could find that, but it was all like a shtick, you know, the whole Rivera thing.
I think his whole career is a shtick.
Yeah.
All right. The next one. This was from some, I couldn't find the original, but I'm just recalling fuzzily. I don't have any provenance on it, but it was a heart shape with a tan line below the belly button. I don't know. I don't remember what the significance of this was.
Well, it is the sacral chakra. I mean, that's what hit me first, that area of the body.
They're just getting everybody to contemplate their navels.
Navel.
Probably so. All right. Next one is everybody watched Wheel of Fortune. Like, it was on multiple times a day, syndication. It was on like every single day. And so this is kind of like, to me, what I see with this is all your base are belong to us. Yeah, we're in every house.
Mhm.
We're sending our message in things as innocuous as a game show.
They control all of the entertainment, essentially, is the way I read that. Also, like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but in the entertainment variety, or not variety shows, but like news programs and stuff, they would be talking about like the star, you know, the woman that changes the letters and what fashion she was wearing. It's like,
Vanna White.
yeah, who cares?
Yeah, right. She posed for Playboy.
Thank God.
I might or might not have done research on that.
So interestingly, you know, it's also like we're giving you part of the message, so you need to figure it out, right? Isn't that the whole basis of Wheel of Fortune? They give you some letters, but not the others. But what is that little like copper-looking hammered copper thing in the lower left?
I think there's one in the upper left too.
So it's
I'm
part of the design.
guessing there's one in each corner. Yeah, just a design element. I'm guessing, but I don't know.
It's part of the superstructure of the game.
Well, I'm just saying her dress, like the color, you know, it's kind of. Do you ever see her dress? The way she dressed. It was very beautiful. Like, that's kind of a brown color. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't think of her. That's not a glamorous looking color.
It's like upscale poop.
Yeah, it's like an industrial looking, and then you got that hammered color next to her. I don't know. It looks coppery, I feel, but it's just interesting because she was always like you said, they were always making a big deal about her glamour.
Well, yeah. The point I was making about making a big deal about her glamour is she's a female on a show that turns letters.
No, exactly.
Who cares what the hell she's wearing? I mean, the show would get better ratings if she wasn't wearing anything.
Probably.
Yeah, she was in Playboy, by the way.
There you go.
Thank God.
Wow.
I get a sense of deja vu going around.
You know what's interesting? Around the time of, was it the OJ trial? Maybe later. Do you know Pat Sajak, who was the host of this show? Do you remember he had a show? He had like a spin-off, not a spin-off. It had nothing to do with Wheel of Fortune, but he's very conservative. kind of Republican guy, and he had a show at one point. At the same time, like Charles Grodin had a show. They all had those shows. They all spun from the whole OJ trial. And Pat Sajak was one of those people who had one of those shows. I don't know how long, and I don't know when it went off, and I didn't really watch it. But he was you wouldn't have thought that because he was on the show, but he was like a very conservative, looking at current events and having guests on the show. So I don't know if it was around this time. That's what I'm trying to say. Was it pre 9/11?
Yeah, that could be. I remember one funny thing about when I think of Pat Sajak. Do you guys remember on Saturday Night Live, Martin Short did a character called Ed Grimley?
Yes.
Oh, it's a beautiful day, I must say. That guy, he played the triangle, and his idol was Pat Sajak. He had a picture of Pat Sajak on his wall. It just had to do with the guy's Sajak's like cultural zeitgeist, or the zeitgeist around him. He was everybody knew who Pat Sajak and Vanna White was in the 80s.
Yeah, he had his final episode was April 13th, 1990. And the first one was January 9th, 1989. So this is like almost a decade before this video came out, but interesting.
Huh. So the next image is Time Magazine. I don't have any provenance on it, but I think I've got an image here with some notes. Cross on the forehead. It could be an inverted cross, 4 distinct lines.
If I recall, the barcode's wrong. Like it's in the wrong place. And it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you did look that up.
Yeah. That's not where the barcode appears on Time Magazine. And the barcode in that image isn't a valid barcode.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder, my speculation at the time was that 4 distinct line, fourth estate, journalism's ability to frame political issues, like that's a foregone conclusion. Like everybody knows that. So I don't know that's not amazing insight on my part.
No. Yeah, it's, who knows? The thing is, in all these images, there are details that somebody just putting together a video like this would not do.
Wait a minute. It says you can't read it because of this, but this says special 26 launching issue. Might say 25, but I think it says 26.
Oh
Are
boy.
we talking about 2026?
Yeah, we might be.
No way. Like that didn't occur to me at the time, but like,
No
whoa,
way,
wait a
bro.
minute.
No way, bro.
Yeah.
Huh.
Now that a lot of Time magazines, the barcode is in the bottom left or the bottom right, but it is never vertical like that. It's always horizontal.
Yeah.
Also, he's covering his eye. Is that because I'm trying to make that out?
That's part of his character. I think he's supposed to be part cyborg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because we have the whole thing with the eye covering.
Well, also, you know what that looks like? It looks like Phantom of the Opera, which look at Trump's icon on Truth Social. It is a Phantom of the Opera mask. He's playing a part in an opera.
Yeah. I
mean, it's a show reference. There's a shadow under his eye that would not appear if that was just an overlaid flag. The artist who did that image was trying to make it look like a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, look it up. There's no way that's accidental.
You got someone in the chat just wrote the bar, right? Lawyers only use code. Could be the legal system, a reference to that.
Yeah, it looks like CODE is an acronym for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe bar also.
Yeah.
All right. So the next image, this was a Budweiser ad. I couldn't find the original, but I remember it.
There's something glaring in that image that just should stick out like a sore thumb.
These yellow binoculars.
Q.
Yep.
Wow.
They're far-reaching. They're far-looking. Yeah, why would they have binoculars in a picture of hotties?
Yeah, seriously, like it would just distract, right?
Right. I mean, you might have a microscope, but
It's not like the girls care where they're going. They're yachting.
And you couldn't find the original ad, John? You say?
I could not. I've got Budweiser NP is my notation for no provenance.
Just going back to that barcode quickly, that doesn't look like a normal barcode to me anyway.
No, it's not valid. Barcodes actually have a very specific encoding mechanism, and that is not a barcode.
Right.
Because every barcode on the planet for the letter 6 is 2 thin lines.
Yeah.
And every barcode has one at the start, one in the middle, and one at the end. You can go and check it on every product in the supermarket, wherever you are.
Yeah, there's actually a barcode font that gives you all the different lines, and you can actually go into a word processor and type a barcode, but it always has to have the right protocol to be readable.
Yeah. See, I wonder what that barcode there is readable as.
I looked at it. It isn't readable.
Oh, right.
It's I mean, you might be able to extract glyphs from it, but it wouldn't really mean anything because it's not a barcode.
Yeah.
So there's an unreadable code or something. Maybe that's what they're saying. A secret code, a false code.
Yeah.
You can't code this.
Yeah.
Who owns Time magazine? Isn't that a Rothschild publication?
No, Time is used. Oh God, I'm totally brain farting this. It was a merger between Time Warner and Warner Communications. Yeah, Time Incorporated, Rockefeller Plaza.
Yeah, everything is there.
Yeah, I've been there.
Rockefeller, sure.
Yeah. We own you.
Purchased in 2018.
Yeah.
God, I think I was on the 23rd floor, John.
Pain.
Yeah. It fits.
It's owned by a Salesforce. You know. The
Oh
company
God, are you kidding?
Founder. Time operates independently of the tech company. While reports in late 2024 suggest potential sale discussions with the Antenna Group as of late 2024, but no deal has been. I mean, listen, we know these companies are just go back and forth and get purchased, and there's mergers and there's this and then there's that. I mean,
that's the whole stairway to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically all of the organizations that lead to any kind of control are controlled by the people who run everything. And so there's no way to gain influence unless you're part of that blob. And even then you're totally controlled.
Yeah.
By the way, as an anecdote, while I was in the middle of the Rockefeller Plaza buildings, negotiating a contract for, or actually I was bidding on a contract for mass storage for Time Incorporated because they had 18 million photographs. The former IBM executive who was talking to me told me that underneath Rockefeller Plaza in the vaults, they had like millions of photographs from the government archives that wouldn't fit in the Library of Congress, so they just stuck them there illegally.
Interesting.
Which, how loosey-goosey do you have to be the government and do that? Or this guy's lying to me. Take your pick.
Or there's some
or his classified documents next to his Corvette in his garage.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing, that whole experience. I went to New York, I think 2 or 3 times in that whole episode, and the whole thing was just absurd.
Yeah.
It was totally unbelievable. It didn't fit. It was just absurd. The guy actually invited me back afterwards and told me that my proposal was the only proposal that was given that would actually work, and it didn't matter because the CFO wanted a robot.
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
You know, it's interesting. We're talking about like time, right? So back in the 80s, I did an internship with MTV, and MTV was a couple of years old, and they have to, you have to know all the information. They give you all the information to understand. So it was a Warner Amex company at the time. I think it's since been bought by Viacom. I don't know what exists now, but it's like, I just remember even then going like it's all these like same companies, at least in New York, that just keep popping up, like, and then you have Warner Communications and you had like whatever. It was just like this whole thing. So I didn't know what I was like, what was going on at that time. Obviously, I was a kid. But then as you start to look at this Time, American Express, Warner, like they're all kind of like pulled together there.
Actually, John, with everything we found, look at the name American Express. That in itself is the Columbus egg.
Yeah, true. True.
Yeah, the whole thing hangs together. There's so many synchronicities that it's impossible this isn't all
And
planned.
what was American Express? What is it? Did it start as a travel company? Did it start as a banking kind of a thing? It was back in the 1800s, right? The origin of it?
No, I think in the 60s you had credit cards start, and they charged interest, and American Express started, and their whole thing was they don't charge interest, but you have to pay the bill every month.
Right, but the company goes back really far, I believe. If you do, yeah, it'd be an interesting dive, because I remember, March 18th, 1850, in Buffalo, New York, it was founded.
What the?
By Henry Wells, William Fargo, banking, and John Butterfield.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I can't remember why, because I don't know if it had to do when I was in film and there was some connection with what they did and the moving of stuff. I don't know, but yeah, I knew it went back.
They invented traveler's checks in 1891.
Yeah, it was something with travel. Exactly.
Yeah, interesting. I did not know that.
Huh.
I thought they emerged out of the 60s.
Oh, you can't tell me this isn't Zoid. By 1862, okay, this is 12 years after they were founded, they had a vast network of 890 offices. In 1862, this is
No
like
way.
890. That's your 17.
Oh my God.
This is
1862.
wow. This is like the same sort of infrastructure as wiring money.
That's what they did.
Yeah, they're right.
They're a money order company.
Remember,
Yep.
like in the old Western movies, you'd see, I got to send whatever that was, a wire.
Pony Express, and then
Pony
you had
Express, and then they had the wires. They would like go, and that's how they showed it in the movies. They would send the wires. Oh my God.
What's the main company that does the wiring from point to point?
Western Union.
Western Union. There's another one. But yeah, the wiring money would have been absolutely critical infrastructure for banking at this time. So the fact that they emerged in 1850 is crazy.
Well, what's really interesting is that if the founders of American Express were Henry Wells and William Fargo,
Yeah, it's a spin-off.
interesting, right? And so it looks like this travel company but it's all connected to the banks, which we know the credit card companies are. But it looks like this separate company. And by the way, it's not a credit card; it's a charge card. That's why you have to pay it at the end of the month.
Yeah.
But although that's not even true anymore, because if you carry a balance on American Express, they automatically let you carry it, and they just charge you interest. So
Do they really?
Yeah.
So they
Because I couldn't pay my full amount for like a couple of months, and it just gets kicked into the. I mean, they charge you a fortune, but you don't have to pay it, I guess, is my point. So that
that fits in with the overall narrative that John and I are seeing, is that everybody's under stress right now, but the system is being really forgiving to make sure nobody gets thrown under the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will, though. Still got to be careful.
John, that 890, did you say that was 1862?
1862, they had 890
So that's
locations.
890 is a 17, 1862 is a 17.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's
course.
fun.
There's no synchronicities here.
They launched from a physical transport to financial services in 1857. So within 5 years, financial services, they had 890 offices.
Yeah, so roughly 900. That is military scale expansion.
Unbelievable. How does that happen?
Well, to be fair, all they need is somebody in a room with access to a telegraph.
Yeah, but you also had to have somebody on the other end. If
Right.
somebody wired money, you've got to have a bank there. You got to have money.
Well, you have to have 900 absolutely trustable agents.
Yeah.
Because they could just wire themselves money and disappear.
Yep. Especially in the American West in 1862. Shit.
Yeah, that's really highly controlled shit.
Well, also, Wells Fargo was founded in March 18th, 1852. And
so Amex is older than Wells Fargo?
No. The founders of Wells Fargo are the founders of American Express. And
Right, but what I'm
American
saying is
Express
they
was
founded American
1860.
Express first.
No,
18. I thought it was 1850.
No, 18, I'll check again, but 1860, and Wells Fargo was 1852. So it'd be interesting to know how many, like you just said, you need the infrastructure. So
Amex,
so that's,
Amex was founded in 1850.
1850.
Yeah.
but
Amex
it was founded
before
by Wells Fargo. It was founded by the guys.
Right, but my point is Amex is 2 years older than Wells Fargo.
Right. So
Which is really weird.
Okay, but guess who founded Wells Fargo?
Yeah, it's the same guy.
No, it says founder of Wells Fargo. They have their names on it, but founder Alexander Hamilton, the first U.S. Treasury Secretary, was a key founder. Let me just double check that this is correct. Let me double check. Well, that's what. Let me just see. Oh, no. He was the first founder of the first operating bank, which was the Bank of New York. Sorry.
Yeah, there's like 100 or 50 year difference there.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, so we basically have 1850 Amex is founded, 1852 Wells Fargo and Company was founded, a separate company designed to serve the California market, it says. But
which at that time was Wild West.
What I just think is fascinating is 1857 American Express goes from physical transport to financial services, and 5 years later they get 890 offices.
Yeah. And
that's nuts.
American Express is founded in Buffalo, New York, like of all places, Buffalo in the 1850s. And then Wells Fargo is founded on the West Coast, like you just said, San Francisco.
Yeah. Well, and also the name American Express. It's like, okay, America's going to be the biggest.
Now, John Butterfield was also another founder. It's Wells Fargo and this guy. And he was a transportation pioneer in the mid-19th century in the American Northwest.
He probably owned railroads.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's just like you're seeing all these. And he was born in Utica. No, he died. Bern, New York. They're New Yorkers, I guess.
Yeah, this is all the infrastructure that makes up this, what I think is the stairway to heaven. It's essentially, in order to do what we're seeing happen now, you have to own all of the critical infrastructure that keeps everyone alive, because you have to have complete covert control of what actually happens behind the scenes and not just what everybody's told how it happens. Because if this were to happen organically, there's no way they could make it work.
No, it's so bizarre.
So let me give you another anecdote. I was at Waffle House at like 3 a.m. one night, because, that's the kind of thing that I do. And I ended up talking to this trucker who had been a driver during the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
And he was working all sorts of hours that were illegal. Like, you're not supposed to drive more than 10 hours a day, I think. They were having him drive way more than 10 hours. They were putting 20% more product on the trucks than was listed on the waybills. And the truckers were directly instructed, just tell the stores to take it. And it's not on the books, just take it. It's extra supplies, extra toilet paper, extra food, extra everything. He said the stores, their stock houses in back were packed to the gills, and they were just throwing food and supplies in dumpsters because they didn't know what to do with it.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So what I'm pointing out is there's a difference between what we were being told on the news, which is we're all going to die. Right. And then behind the scenes, you've got armies of truck infrastructure that's delivering way more stuff than is necessary to make sure that nobody goes hungry, nobody goes without toilet paper. You remember the whole oh god, what do they call it, formula stuff for babies?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Remember that whole shortage? I was friendly with the manager of the store here locally, and you go in and the formula shelves are empty. So I went up to him and I said, hey, do you guys have like a secret hidey hole with a whole bunch of formula in it? So when some mother comes in that doesn't have food, that you can give them formula? He says, yeah, I got a shopping cart full of it in my office.
Wow.
So
if you went into the store and you needed formula, you'd get it.
So it was to make everybody believe this whole narrative, right? But
exactly.
At the same time, I always thought maybe on some level they were sort of getting rid of the shit, because we know all the things that came out about the formula too. So was that the old shit they were trying to get rid of? And
I don't think so. I think the public facing view of what's going on is different than the narrative. But most people are seagrass, and most people will just believe whatever is being said. And so everybody will push the narrative that they want pushed. So everybody feels like they're under stress, but behind the scenes, it's not nearly as bad as what they're saying.
Yeah.
There are shock absorbers in place to really make sure that people are taken care of.
Yeah, it's like waking up the people, scaring the people, and taking care of them covertly at the same time.
Right. You have to scare the shit out of them, otherwise this isn't going to work.
Yeah, 100%. Wow.
Yay! We're being lied to. Yay!
One more interesting anecdote about Time magazine. So in the post-World War II, right immediately following, we had a lot of psyops happening in Germany, Japan, former Axis countries, all of the denazification, all run by one guy, Brigadier General Robert McClure, who is the father of the American psychological operations. He did it during World War II. He was very close friends with the owner of Time magazine, the owner and the publisher. And I'm trying to find it. I can't find it, but there was correspondence going back and forth, basically, where he's saying, "Hey, anything you need from me." The founder of Time, the publisher of Time, is saying this to Robert McClure, who's the father of psyops.
In other words, the media at that time was completely controlled.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
It's never written down.
Was it Britton Hayden and Henry Luce? That was the founder? No, I was just wondering if those were the...
That I don't know.
Okay.
All right. Back to the vid. Okay, so we've got the Surgeon General warning. I think just the biggest thing in here is that this is another slide showing, hey, warning, this is dangerous. So all your bases belong to us. Back to that narrative of, hey, you guys might want to come in from the cold here. We can help. All right, so the next video, restricted activity sign. So I thought it was funny. No pissing in the street.
Yeah.
No fires. No music. No boom boxes. And I did I find? You can't put out this fire with your piss. Can't shut down the news. Can't burn this shit down. that was my interpretation after I couldn't find the original. I'm like, well, fuck it. I'll just, this is what it means to me. So the next is the keyboard.
Yep. That should be a Windows key.
Yeah. What do I have here?
It's the right-hand Windows key.
This is the original photograph. Press any key. The elusive any key. That was a meme that was going around at the time. Yeah, you can press any key and all your base are belong to us.
Yeah, because they control the operating system and they see everything.
This is the zig here, right? Oh, all your bases are belong to us. There we go. Obviously, Times Square. I couldn't find any provenance to this. I want to say was this Phantom?
Phantom of the Opera?
Maybe. I don't remember. This was right around the summer of '99, I think, that's what I'm recalling. I don't remember. I could be wrong. I can't find my notes. So I had it at some point.
I remember spending a bunch of time on this, and we were frustrated because we couldn't figure out like what the hell this image meant.
Yeah, it's weird. You got NBC, you got Budweiser. Maybe it's just, hey, Panasonic, all these big corporations, all your base.
There's also Quest on a big sign up there, which is like,
yeah,
Quest to figure out what the hell's going on. Maybe, I don't know.
That could be. What does this say? I can't read that. I don't know. It's like a smiley face. Whatever. So this guy, speaking at the UN, this was the image, and I figured out who he was. His name is Andres Pastrana Arango. He was the president of Colombia at the time. Yeah, I found the pictures. I don't know. Here we go. Here's the sauce. It's a different occasion at the UN. He's a different color tie, but I suspect they'd change the color of that tie because everything else seems to match.
Yeah.
Nothing makes me swampy. There's a little thing called cocaine, though. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was, there's a reason that image is in there. And so I don't know, South America, cocaine, Colombia, because Colombia in the 80s and even 90s that was the source. It wasn't Venezuela. Probably still is Colombia.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
cocaine is indigenous to Colombia.
Yeah. The Colombian necktie, you remember all those references, like to what happens.
Yeah. Well, there's also the research we did, John. Remember with the lineage of the Nazis that went to Argentina that ended up being the guys who started the cartels in Latin America.
Yep.
So, like, if this is completely controlled at a macro level, that goes back 100 or more years, then essentially what they did is they took a lot of heavy hitters from Nazi Germany, moved them to Argentina, and then used them to start the cartels that we see today as the big bad cartels.
Yeah, honeypots.
Yep. Honeypots for bad guys.
You know what's interesting? Like the way he's going like this, the way he's talking, doesn't that kind of that motion remind you of Trump?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's speaking very forcefully. I don't know what his speech was on.
It's also very common for the Latin speaking politicians to be very forceful.
Gesticulate
in their mannerisms.
Anal exams?
Final.
Yeah.
Gosh, you have a dirty mind.
It looks like an A. Come on. Look at it.
It's supposed to.
It does look like anal exams. We're fine. The eye has fallen over. That has to be a senior prank, but it is kind of the message, isn't it? Oops, sorry. Yeah. That's kind of the message, right? Anal exams, all your base are coming to us. We're going to look deep up your ass. We know. So that was kind of the message I got from that.
It's kind of weird that they picked Lexington, Lexington Middle School.
Yeah.
Think about
the Battle of Lexington. Plus, it goes back to the whole children motif where you have schools involved.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next image.
we couldn't find these guys.
What's that?
Oh, we couldn't find these guys at all.
I think it's Boston or maybe in Connecticut. It doesn't, you can't really read what this is underneath the peacock symbol. And I get so frustrated by it. News 10 billboard, no fucking provenance is what I titled the image as. I couldn't find it.
Yeah, we looked for a long time and could not find any of those people.
Wow.
So the next one is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
This is the one that got me going, oh my God.
I couldn't believe you found this.
So we were like, okay, so they're replacing the roadsides with all your base. And so it was like, okay, I got to find this. I wonder what that road is underneath. And when I found it, it was like, man, this is not a coincidence.
Yeah.
So here is the original. And the actual sign structure is not what the original was. Don't know when when this image was taken for the video, but the most recent image on Google Streets is, if you can read that, Bad Route Road. You're taking a bad route.
Yep. And notice the blue signs aren't there. So they intentionally added the blue signs to say, give us a call, you're crippled. Right?
Yes. Yeah, because in fact, it's so if there really was a telephone and handicap facilities at this place, there isn't, because it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. Bad Route Road,
right?
Fallon, Montana.
That's Montana.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
John went through Google Street View on all the highways to find the exit 192s.
No, I narrowed it down. Because I knew it was a Western state. So it was kind of like, all right, well, give me 192. So then it was one of the first few that I stumbled on. But yeah, I did look at quite a few.
He's being modest.
What about those little posts? You see those little, I don't know if they mean anything, like there's like 3 there, and I don't know, because
it's just fence post.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they raised sheep here. Because
that's interesting.
They raise sheep in the whole country.
Yeah, exactly.
World. Okay, so everyone knows this is Bill Gates. I think he got arrested in New Mexico, and I don't remember if it was for...
It was for speeding. He was going like 120 miles an hour or something. He got a slap on the wrist because daddy was rich.
Oh, yeah, his dad is super well connected.
He was an attorney in Washington, D.C. Yes.
Yeah.
They're both super well connected. His mom was on the board of a charity.
Yes.
Planned Parenthood, I think.
With the CEO of IBM, or the chairman of the board of IBM, at the time when Microsoft got the MS-DOS contract. And I could go on for hours about how crooked all of that is, but
yeah,
I won't.
So it's interesting, right? This is the second Windows reference. The first was that Windows pop-up. Now you've got the blue screen of death. Interesting, right? All your base. The next image is also a Windows. All your base are caused a general protection fault, blah, blah, blah. You were on the way to destruction. What you say, you have no chance to survive. Make your time. Yeah. But again, it's a Windows reference. It's Windows heavy. And there's one more Windows reference next, another blue screen of death.
Yeah. They're basically telling you that they control everything digital.
It's not coincidence. You get Bill Gates, run through the same 4 in a row. You get Bill Gates, blue screen of death, Windows error pop up, blue screen of death again. Oops.
It is plausibly deniable, though, because it's a very early digital thing. And so the people who did it would have been either using Macs or Windows, probably Windows.
Probably Windows.
So.
Yeah.
All right. So the next image, this is Shuttle Discovery. This is October 24th, 2000. And I have it down as, I have a question of whether this is Ascension Island. I think it's Arizona.
That's too big to be Ascension Island.
Yeah, and it's not only is it too big, there's not enough mountains.
Yeah. Ascension Island is tiny.
There it is. So it's the STS-92 shuttle mission. 20. That's how I was able to date it. This is interesting, though. The mission was described as unimportant. Sorry. This is the STS-92 mission. Nobody, no names.
7:17 p.m.
Yeah, just going to say that.
Oh, that's interesting. 7:17 launched.
Hey, you know what's interesting? October 11th, 2000. That was a month before this showed up. So whoever did it took the image from the news.
Right.
In other words, it was a very timely image because there was only a month for that to circulate before it appeared in all your base.
Yeah, true. Not even that, because it landed on October 24th. So
Yeah,
just-
it was like really time relevant then.
huh. Oh, that's interesting. This is the shuttle stuff. I don't know if you guys want to read this. I don't know how easy that is to read.
Does it matter?
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Just another picture of that
Wait,
same.
who are the astronauts on there?
What's that?
Oh, if you just go back, I just caught the thing you said wasn't really worth reading.
Oh, this.
I just want to see something on flight. Japanese astronaut.
Oh, 7 hours, 7 minutes. Sorry, I thought it was 17, but
Payload bay. I was just looking at some of the people that were on here. I'm sure there's something in here that, you know what I mean? But yeah, 7 hours, 7 minutes. So I don't know. Interesting.
I don't know what real significance that is, other than, you know, Space Force, we control space. Next
rolling
in,
papers.
what's that?
Rolling papers
Yeah, smoke them if you got them.
for great justice. Really?
What are the odds, right? The last cigarette before firing squad? I don't know.
You know what's weird? They had a picture in here of Ziggy. Remember Ziggy from the 70s?
Yeah.
And then it has zigzag. Like, I don't know if that means anything.
Yeah. So one of the factions in the Zero Wing game is the Zigs.
Okay.
And
Move
so,
Zig.
yeah. So the soundtrack is going zig, zig, right? Zig means something. Look at David Bowie with Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah.
Right. Ziggy, I think, is the common man, the everyman. That's my read on it.
Interesting.
God.
Judgment Day is on its way. That was kind of my take from this.
Yeah.
So the next one we're gonna
God. Go to the email Suarez.
Okay, here's a good rabbit hole here. This one's kind of fun. This is going to be hard
insane.
to.
You could do a whole podcast just on this one rabbit.
Yeah, you could. Okay, so man, there's like another 20 images maybe. So email Suarez. This dude came from
Ecuador.
Ecuador, I think. Hang on.
Yeah, Ecuador had virtually no infrastructure for digital stuff at the time. This guy doesn't exist.
So I'm going to stop the share on this and start a share on another screen. So this is a screen cap. This originally appeared in PC User Magazine number 93 in January of 99. And I can't read Spanish. And I remember looking at this at one point.
Uruguay. It wasn't Ecuador.
Another one of the Central American countries.
Yeah, we dug into this so hard because it was just so fertile with bizarre. What the hell?
Okay, so I've got the translation. This is the best proof that in this small country of South America, we've always been many years ahead of technology. I don't think this is the meat of the whole thing. Just know that email Suarez Barboza comes from PC User Magazine. Okay, so I'm going to stop that. And then what's interesting is if you search email Barboza, you end up with a Facebook profile.
Is it still there?
I don't know. I grabbed a screen cap of it. I'm sharing it right now.
I'm gonna see.
Email Suarez Barboza. Somebody created this. Right? Okay, that's funny. But now when you go through his book, wait a minute. Let's see.
It's still there, John.
Is it really?
Yeah, on Facebook. You can look it up.
Same number of followers?
168 followers.
You got one more.
Oh God. Wait, let me reload and see if it actually.
Oh, that's funny.
No, I still show 168. Wow, it could be lag.
All
But yeah,
right.
look at the photos in that Facebook.
Yeah, I'll get there. Here we go.
All right.
Open these. Okay, I'm going to stop screen share there. It's so professional of me to have all this stuff ready to go.
Professional numpty.
Yeah, you like my title?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's his Facebook photos. Now, what I think is interesting is that this date is obviously well after. So somebody created this after the All Your Base. So it might just be
Fan.
total coincidence, right? Some fanboy created a Facebook page.
Not with these pictures.
No, that's when you see all the pictures, you go, what? So
Yeah.
you have here he is.
Whoever did this knows some shit.
Yeah. So he got his face inserted here. First Uruguayan on the moon. Now look at these next pictures. He has inserted himself behind Lee Harvey Oswald. Email at the scene of the crime.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Woody Allen movie Zelig. Did you ever see that movie? It's you should watch it because like you'd probably appreciate it. Well, everybody would, but Paul, you would, because it's really an editing kind of, the whole movie's about editing, and Zelig was called the human chameleon. So no matter who he was around, he would turn into. So if they put him like next to, like he turned into Hitler, and then you see him in the movies with Hitler, and then he, like, I think he spent time with like a Jewish rabbi or something, he turned into a rabbi. Like it's, but I think there's a lot of stuff in there. You know what I mean? So this is
it's probably the same sort of stuff. Have you ever seen What's Up, Tiger Lily?
What is going on with this?
Is that George Siegel?
No, it's a Woody Allen movie. They basically took a mob movie from China and then dubbed the entire thing over and edited the hell out of it to make it a completely different story about this egg salad recipe.
Oh my god! Oh my god, that's so funny.
It's the most bizarre movie.
Just check it out, because even though he's like disgusting, you know, his movies were pretty interesting. But anyway, what's up?
Is he disgusting, or was he just made to look to?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying what I know, like having a daughter and having a boyfriend and thinking he's going to take off with my daughter. It kind of.
Well, the thing is, like, I've never met the guy. I don't even know if he has a daughter.
Right.
Well, Mia Farrow had that daughter from allegedly when she was with Andre Previn. So
yes, so we're told.
So we're told. Yeah. No, we don't know. I'm just saying the story.
Yeah.
However, if you guys want a good laugh, if you haven't seen Take the Money and Run by Woody Allen, I think that was like his first film. It's freaking hysterical. He's the worst criminal that ever lived, and he's like a screw up. But it's so, and his parents are so ashamed they wear Groucho Marx noses to be interviewed, you know, with the nose and the glasses. And the mother's like, he was a sweet boy, he was a good boy, and the father's like, he was a bum, you know. And it's just like all this, like it's a very funny, literate comedy movie. Yeah, I digress.
That's all right. So the next picture I grabbed, I highlighted this guy Pablo Zamlavida, who replied to this or forwarded it or whatever the hell that means. I don't know if it's relevant or not, but this is his homepage, and I thought it was interesting.
Trotsky,
Trotsky, the Snidely Whiplash guy with the bomb.
Yeah.
He's got some odd photos. The ACES page, which is like the death calling card in Vietnam. Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal.
I haven't looked at any of this stuff in forever, so I don't.
And that's like a recent picture of Steven Seagal from like now that he's in the Louisiana.
Now that he's gone full clown tard.
Like law enforcement, and he developed from Brooklyn, being a guy from Brooklyn, he developed this Southern accent. Yeah.
He's eating a carrot. Okay, so we'll get on to the other photos.
Oh, that's so weird.
Here's email at the famous picture
Times Square.
in Times Square. Iwo Jima. Email is right here.
Kennedy reference, the war, the second war, right? It's all these references.
Well, I think what they're saying is that the entity email Suarez is responsible for all of these propaganda events. I think that's what this message is.
Okay.
Right. So whoops.
The most
Einstein.
intelligent photo ever taken.
Is that Princeton? That's Princeton when he was at Princeton, Albert Einstein?
Well, I don't know. This is the Solvay conference in 1927. And
this is said to be the most intelligent photograph ever taken.
Yes. Yeah. And I can't even recall all the people in the picture anymore. Tesla, is he in there? I mean, email is right here.
Yeah, I don't think Tesla's in there, but it's all of the, Niels Bohr and all of the founders of the modern origin of like quantum physics are there.
Interesting.
And here's email at Yalta. Email organizing post-war Europe. I mean, so email might just be a stand-in. And we would have said at the time for Fourth Pog, but now I would say Zoids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, they're secretly arranging all of this stuff to happen.
So here's the last picture. John F. Kennedy. Here's email in the back. To me, it's fascinating that you have this one image in all your base, and then when you go to the guy's Facebook page 14 years after the movie, right, it could be totally plausibly deniable. But all of those pictures, this is before Q dropped. So, the Facebook page was put up. So all of these pictures that have, suggesting the greatest minds in the world, and you've got space, and you've got World War II, and John F. Kennedy, and Kennedy's assassination, and all of that stuff. That's crazy.
Well, it's saying, isn't it, that the Zoids, whoever's in control, do control everything. Because you said before, guys, that they had to control all the bad as well to stop humanity destroying itself.
Yeah, because civilization will collapse if you let bad guys get to the top of the hierarchy.
Yeah.
By the way, Suarez is a name that means basically the son of a warrior. But it's very, and it's very close to the word soiree, which is like a house party. So Suarez, it's email. Okay, it's digital communication. It's a son of a warrior. It's a house party. Barbosa, I don't know what that means, but like these names, if you dig into people's names, you'll very often find names that are indicative of this Zoid lens of looking at it.
Yeah.
It's just a photo bomber.
Yeah. Basically, they're making fun of the whole thing, I think.
All right, I got to get back to my. Where are we at here? All right. Shit, I got so many windows open now I can't track all of them. All right.
Can.
What's that?
They can.
Yeah, they are.
So can I. I've only got to track one of yours.
Okay, so this is the one, Elisa, you were talking about. Take off Ziggy for great justice.
And his fingers over the 4. I don't know if that means anything.
I don't know either. This may just be in there because Zig.
Yeah.
And then you got Zigs, you got the zigzag papers.
Take off every Ziggy, our great justice.
Oh, shit. Sorry. For great justice? Our great
R.
justice.
Well,
Yeah, that may be. The next one, Break for Moose. I think this is in Maine.
Roosevelt.
What's that?
Roosevelt. The Bull Moose Party.
Oh, that's right. I'm glad you remember that.
Yep.
I found the original sign. I couldn't tell you where it was. I probably could at one time.
I think
But
it was near Canada.
the missing words are, instead of all your base are belong to us, it could save your life. Bad Route Road, Surgeon General's warning, blue screen of death.
It could save your life.
It certainly seems like there's a message here, don't you think?
Yeah. And you said this was where this, you thought this was Maine, or
I'm pretty sure it's in Maine.
interesting?
Yeah, it's northern United States near the border of Canada, I think is what I recall.
So not like Montana or those places where you also get a lot of moose. Okay. Cool.
It could be, but for some reason, I don't know why. I just, that's where my mind is going. Like I had either established or had a high probability that it was Maine. So, all right.
This one's great.
This is a really good one. So it's all your base. It's the guy mooning the webcam, right?
You remember the anal exams?
Yeah. Yes. So to me, it's about surveillance. I mean, see up your ass, right?
See right up your ass.
So here's the original.
What's that? What is this? Language?
I'm guessing it's Finnish.
Wouldn't that be appropriate? Because it's Russian, and then you become Finnish.
It's Nordic for sure, but it's not. It's either Danish or it's Finnish. I'm pretty sure it's Finnish, just because of the number of K's and the double A's.
It's not Danish because you'd have more O's with a line through it.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. I'm pretty sure it's Finnish. Huh? What is EE? Estonia, maybe?
Yeah. Well, let's find out. Let's ask the inner tubes.
That's what I'm trying to do. Translate. How do I translate that?
Well, what if you go to that site?
Estonia.
It is Estonia.
Estonia.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, so basically what they're saying is they see everything.
Yep. That's right. That's where I go with it.
You know, it's interesting. If you go back to that picture, I may be going way too, but next to Calendrid, whatever the heck that is, there's the butterfly. It looks like the monarch butterfly.
Yeah. Making a transformation from a caterpillar to a beautiful butterfly.
Yeah, it could be, except
MK Ultra, like in other words, the power of controlling your mind or something like that.
maybe, except that video or that image was done in whenever the video was in 2000, and I grabbed this screenshot in like 22 or 23. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I might just, I would lean toward coincidence on that, just because.
Yeah, one of the problems with this stuff is you can go off on all the details, but the problem is you get completely overwhelmed with information that's irrelevant because most of it's noise.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went deep into this one to see if I deep into the balls deep, as a matter of fact, to try to figure out, well, okay, who are these teams? And here's what I found, and it's kind of a mishmash. Bayern Uerdingen away, right? And I think that's the red team here. But because of the colors on the sleeves, I couldn't find anything from whenever this photo was grabbed. So it was pre-November of 2000. But I'm pretty sure it's KFC Uerdingen. And then I went further. And I'm like, oh, Bayern. And then it's sponsored by Bayer, chemical giant. I don't know. What's the message about Bayer Chemical? Maybe. Bayer Chemical kicking another team in the nuts. Werder Bremen. That's definitely the other team, the DBB.
Yeah. Is that Dutch or German?
That's German.
German.
I don't think I think at this point I got so frustrated. I'm like, fuck it. I don't care.
Yeah, I think it boiled down to red and green.
Yes.
Was my understanding.
Yep.
Red Castle, Green Castle.
Well, also red being truth and green refers to the people who curate the world or the gardeners that take care of humanity, the Zoids, essentially. So it looks like the truth is going to get rid of the old system of how it was gardened. That's what I would say now. But I mean, that's completely squishy interpretation. Don't take that as a fact. Don't take anything we're saying for granted. I mean, we could be totally wrong about any of this stuff, and anybody could, because it's all plausibly deniable and there's no proof. It's all deductive reasoning. Yeah,
it's super squishy. I mean, these interpretations, this is certainly not a final thing. You can hear, we believe one thing. Yep. You guys can totally believe another, and who knows who's right.
Yeah.
I didn't even bother looking for this sign because I have no idea.
Yeah, that could be anywhere
in the US. I just figure it's a stop sign. That's it. Intersection, you're at an intersection, and either way you go, all your base belongs to us.
It's just interesting that you're seeing the back of the sign for a change rather than the front.
That's probably the message.
Yes, I was gonna say that you don't see the front of the stop sign.
It's like the perspective is the white hats going, all right, we're here. Either way you go, because the other guys will be coming up to the stop sign.
Yeah, we're on the other side of the stop sign. If you don't stop, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So the next one.
Or we're right behind you, and you might get a tap on the shoulder.
Or we're right in front of you. If you keep going down the same way and don't stop, then you meet us.
Then all your base belong to us. Okay, this one.
Yep.
November of 2000, right? Let me find my other photos.
This is a very unique idea for an image, right? To light up the lights in a building, an office building, in order to give a message.
So hold that in your mind. And let's go to this. Okay. Some people are going to recognize this, maybe most.
Yeah.
There was an Israeli team of artists that were in the World Trade Center months before.
On visas.
9/11, on visas.
They were Israeli nationals.
Yeah, and they were given free run of the building. They had security passes, and ostensibly their goal was in this window was to build up like a window that could look down. That was the goal. Except the thing is, when Anon started digging into this, when you look up BB-18, and there's other pictures, I don't have them. You guys can go look them up. Yeah. But these are the detonator switch banks. That's what these are made for. They're made for like demolition.
You control
multiple squibs.
So why is E-Team Israeli nationals in the country on visas with detonators in the World Trade Center 10 months before 9/11 happened? Okay, and look at where the E-Team appears on the World Trade Center. It's right in the same envelope where the planes allegedly hit. Okay, and so then you have all your base or belong to us that comes out 10 months before 9/11 that has a building with writing on it that says all your base. What are the odds?
Yeah, Google E-Team World Trade Center. You guys can do that as a search. Read all about it. It is interesting. It brings up memories for me of like dancing Israelis and all that fun shit.
Given the context of all of the weird shit we found by decoding this, what are the odds that these things all happen in the same place if this is not scripted?
Yes. That is the message of this whole thing, is this. How would you have all of these images, given some of these, especially the Bad Route Road and it could save your life and all the warnings, all of this stuff.
Yeah. Bush, Gore, Windows, Screens of Death, like the overall macro context of it is somebody is messaging this shit. And it's not accidental. There's too much synchronicity to have it be an accident.
Yep. All right, go back to the share screen. Okay, so we've seen that.
Yeah.
Here's where it shows the E team. It's right here. That's where the plane hit. Really? And
What are the odds?
have a fuck ton of detonators there? Really? Huh.
Well, the other thing is, what I would say is, if this stuff was all super black ops, classified, nobody knows about it, why the hell do we have access to any of these photos?
Yep.
That's
So-
a really big question.
Right. So when you really think about it and think, okay, what's going on here? Whoever's behind this wants people to have access to the photos if they look. That's weird. Just by itself, that's really strange. If these bad guys really had any power, would that be the case?
No.
And if the good guys were doing what we're told the good guys are doing, a la the Trump show, why would they allow access to it? Wouldn't they keep it all? If there was any risk at all, would they allow this stuff to be out there for 20 years? I don't think they would.
There must not be any risk.
In other words, it seems more likely that it's just a show.
Everything just keeps coming back to that. Like, even all the shows that Stu and I do together, like, we just keep going down different rabbit holes. I mean, obviously, I would say the rabbit holes we go down with you guys are the most intense, because we're really, no, that's a huge compliment, because you guys have really said, take all your thoughts, put them to the side so we can have an open mind about all this. But it just keeps leading back to that. Just keeps leading back to this idea that, how long has this show been going on?
Complete control for generations.
Yeah.
Throughout the good and the bad. I mean, we hear, don't we? We've heard stories about, and we talk about white hats, black hats, and all these sorts of things. And then we hear that, the good guys knew 9/11 was going to happen, had to let it happen to gain access to certain things. But maybe it's all being controlled by much higher levels than that anyway. The Zoids.
Yeah. Well, this is where I think a lot of people have trouble with it. Like, well, you mean if they could have prevented 9/11 from happening, why didn't they do it? 3,000 people supposedly, we're told, died. Okay. I would point at, I've used this probably, I don't know if I've said it in your show, but when the Allies cracked the German code, the Deutscher code, using the Enigma machine, or actually not using it, but they didn't want Germany to know that we'd cracked the code. So they couldn't prevent every single thing that they knew was going to happen. They couldn't go right to the spot where the U-boat wolf packs were gathering. They couldn't just send up fighters on a random night to take out the bomber stream going to Coventry. They had to let some of it happen. They had to. I'm certain what they tried to prevent was stuff that they could corroborate another way, but they certainly didn't want to let Germany know that, hey, we have the code. Otherwise, they'd change the code. It would take months to break it again.
Well, and so, also look at what's going on with this whole thing in the last 8 years. Q comes out and everybody starts digging, and you have all these rabbit holes, right? Everybody talks about, going down a rabbit hole. I shared a screen image from the movie The Yellow Submarine, and there's this whole scene that's very memorable where they're going down a bazillion rabbit holes. Like, is that an accidental scene, or was that intentionally put in there to describe this whole process?
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
Go ahead.
They meet a character. I can't even remember the name of the character, but
Jeremy.
Jeremy. And Jeremy, when you really research that character, that's the average guy who thinks he knows everything but knows nothing.
He's a nowhere man. That's what the song is about.
Right. And so they're in this field of rabbit holes, and they have to go down tons and tons of rabbit holes before they find the right one to get back to what ends up being a narrative. So they start a narrative, they go through this bizarre journey, and then they end up back in another narrative. It's like, welcome to the Zoid theory.
On a spiritual level, and I know this is going to sound trite. I don't mean it that way. But if you sort of believe on some level that we all come in and incarnate aware of what our purpose is and aware of what we're kind of signing up for, in a strange kind of way, you could sort of say we knew this. We knew going into the matrix what was going to happen. So when bad things happen to people, whether it's just things that happen in our own lives, like that are not as catastrophic as, let's say, a 9/11 or a war, it's kind of like we're kind of volunteers, if you will, in this whole thing to move it to a place, hopefully that's all good and high vibrational and, much better than what we thought. So, is there that part of us that knows what we're up for?
Well, I think one of the interesting philosophical things, if you really drill into philosophy, is that when you believe something that's not true, you've made a choice to not dig on it further and figure out what's true. Because the alternative to believing something one way or the other is to just not be sure. But people are uncomfortable with that. And so the normal instinct is to make up your mind.
Yeah.
Right. But with the way everything works, the most prudent thing to do is probably to just not think you know. But everybody is so quick to prove to everybody else how much they know that they decide on things and then try to convince everybody else that they're right. Right? But which leads to most people misunderstanding what's going on around them. So that's how simple it is. That's why you can put out a narrative and everybody believes it, because they're so used to believing whatever they're told that they just go with it.
Yeah, and we say this all the time. I mean, this is what we are seeing. These are the things that this is our interpretation, for example, of these images. We could be totally wrong. This is not gospel. We don't know. So do your own research, come to your own conclusions. If it's the same, great. But honestly, I don't care if you agree, if you align or not align. The goal is just to think. That to me is the biggest thing.
Most people don't actually think most of what they believe through.
Oh, I 100% agree with that.
Do we want to quickly bop through the rest of these images, Stu?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So the next one is McDonald's. I mean, they're ubiquitous, right? All over the planet. All your base are belong to us. I mean, again, I think that's just kind of part
We
of
control the food supply.
Right. There you go. Subway, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also Subway has a connotation of being underground or invisible.
Oh, that's right.
Plus they had a spokesman who turned out to be a pedophile.
That's right.
Jared.
Good old Jared.
Jared's getting the free foot long now.
What's that?
Jared's getting the free foot long now, multiple times a day.
Don't drop the soap.
Oof. Next image is Magic 8 Ball. It's like, tell me your fortune. Yeah, okay. We control all of that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think it is. This one is interesting only because I found the original image. And
You found the original image to that?
Oh my gosh. What is that supposed to say? School?
Yeah. They fucked up.
Like Clearing Center?
They screwed up the word school.
Yeah, good word to screw up.
Or did they? Like, is that? I mean, I know that's what it is, but what do they say?
No, they didn't. If you go back, that board down there is like a stencil for the L, because you see that stencil for the O's hanging up there.
Yeah, because they already did the O.
No, I see what you mean. Sorry, 2 letters ran the wrong way. I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I think what they're saying is they control the schools.
Yep. And they can get people to believe that that's how you're supposed to spell school.
Yeah. Or they can get people to believe that school is bad for organic reasons and not bad because it was intended.
What does that say? Schoo?
It's just spelled wrong.
Yeah.
I gotta check something here. Okay. Oh, this is good. Okay.
It also says schoo. Like schoo. But it's not there's no
cool. This is just another UFO thing. This is a little place in Nevada, the little alien. Alien. UFO reference.
Yep.
The Matrix reference. This was released, I just had to look this up, March 31 of 99. So this is
pretty time relevant. It was super popular.
Yeah, for sure.
Just go back to that cloud one, alien one a minute. That cloud there on the left looks like an eye looking down from the sky.
It does. That's weird.
Where?
On the left?
There.
Here?
Yeah, no, just up. That next one up. That
It looks like an eye.
with a sort of like iris in the middle of it.
Yeah, it does actually. Oh, right here. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. But if you look at it even further, it looks like that's the eye. There's an eyebrow. There's like a tuft of hair, and like it could be a mustache or something. It's just very weird if you look at that.
Yeah.
Like an all-seeing person. It looks like, God, like.
Yeah, that's odd. I honestly, I think this is really about just another UFO reference.
Yeah.
So this guy's name is Robert Senator. I looked it up. It's his dedication plaque. It's on a fire station in LA. This guy produced, this is why the thing is there. He produced Adam 12 and Emergency and Quincy MD. He's a Hollywood dude.
Yeah.
So they're honoring a director of a show.
Well, not only that, look at the context of the shows, EMTs and cops.
Yeah.
Showing you this is what the police do.
Yeah. Next image is Madison Square Garden. I don't know anything beyond that. It's like, hey, it's a show. We're all going to a show.
Yep. This is great.
So, the birds are gonna shit in the kid's mouth. The birds, oh shit.
Yeah, bird language.
Yeah, this is the original. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
We're gonna shit in his mouth. The birds. Then you got OJ's mugshot. What a psyop that was.
Might be a show.
And then the very last slide.
By the way, orange juice is orange. House of Orange.
House of Orange.
Yeah.
Anyway, the very last slide is a gravestone. Again, more of the doom and gloom, like, hey, you might want to change what you guys are doing. So, yeah, so that's what we got for all your base.
Wow.
Yeah.
We thought we'd have time for other stuff. That's a long one.
No, but it was a good one. It was really a good, to go through all that, because if you consider that it went viral and it was the first thing to go viral, that says a lot. It's so weird and strange. Why would it go so, it's something. They know, whoever they are, they know how to make things that's going to hold someone's attention. That's kind of the ultimate.
Also, think about the languages involved. Like, someone decided to describe it as viral rather than describe it as mega popular or, super communication or whatever, right? They said viral, and then later on we get COVID. It's a virus. Is it neurolinguistic programming to call it viral? I think so.
And they started with all the viruses with the computers, right? We were all talking about that for God knows how long.
Right. So on one hand, you have viral as a good thing if you want exposure. On the other hand, you have virus as a bad thing, which is like viruses on your computer. And once again, I was in the computer industry. The whole virus thing is ridiculous. It's so contrived and absurd, but everybody's terrified of it. And everybody buys all these products to protect your machines. I mean, I had a software publisher for 35 years with lots of employees. And you know what we use for virus protection? Nothing.
Right. That whole business, think of the billions, that business of like protecting your computers and your devices. And does it really work?
And also, I mean, when you have a multi-hundred million or $1 billion company that does antivirus software, obviously they're going to be making viruses to sell their software.
Right.
Go back even earlier in the computer industry, before the internet, in the early 90s and late 80s, there were copy protection programs that could copy diskettes that were copy protected. And over and over again, every few years, some company that sold these programs that copied discs were busted because they also owned companies that licensed the copy protection software to the publishers. So the same people who were writing the stuff to protect the discs were writing the copy programs to copy the discs, and they'd get busted and there'd be lawsuits, and and so I mean, I watched all this happening going, what is going on here? This is too obviously dumb to be real.
I got to take a quick bio break. I'll be right back.
Okay.
It's so bad.
Take your phone, web stream it.
You could be talking about the computer industry there, or you could be talking about the medical industry.
Well, right, but then I would say zoom out one more level and say, is all of it orchestrated simply to make the world appear to be that corrupt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that actually makes a lot of sense given what we're going through. I mean, look at earlier we were talking about the stuff in the air that makes you feel like shit. Like, related? Yeah. Something really big is going on, and I don't think we know what it is. I have my guesses. I think we're about to go through the biggest phase change in human history, which is nobody's going to need to work in a few years.
Yeah.
And if I was going to pull that off as the guy who ran the world, I'd sedate the shit out of everyone, because that cognitively, everybody would get flipped out. Like, oh my gosh, am I going to starve to death because I can't get a job?
Right.
So what you have to do is you have to make sure everybody's buried in money, which I think is about to happen. Well, why are you buried in money? Well, because we caught these criminals that have trillions of dollars and they committed crimes that hurt you. So we're going to take their money, seize it, and the government's going to pay you money. Right. And that lifts the fear away. And then you do the transition. And then by the time people run out of money, they don't need it anymore.
Adding on top of that as well, the fact that you've got you're sedating people for that event. Yeah. You're also sedating them for the event that everyone's going to find out they've all been lied to at the same time.
Right.
Pretty much. And
right. But the whole thing masterfully is orchestrated so that if you just don't look, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But if you dig into it, it doesn't matter.
Choice to know will be yours.
Right. So you can choose to spend all your time trying to figure out what's going on, or you can just sit there and watch Netflix and eat pizza, and you'll be fine. Like, what are the odds that looks like a plausible scenario if it's not true?
And you said, like, oh, we got all this money from the bad guys, but I even wonder if they're even going to say that. They're putting everybody's attention on how much money we're getting from tariffs. Like, the tariff is the magical, right? And then these clearing centers, like, oh my God, so it is what you're saying, the bad guys. But
look at the EOs where they can seize assets for corruption.
Yes.
Corruption legally is an insanely broad term.
Yeah.
It basically, if you did something bad, we can just take your shit. Okay, do you suppose they're going to find uber rich guys somewhere and take their stuff and then say, wow, we have a $50 trillion surplus. Oh, we don't know what to do, but it's on the balance sheet, so we're going to pay everybody huge amounts of money.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what we're going to see fairly shortly. Maybe not. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe I'm just on drugs.
Maybe.
I mean, it makes sense logically. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
Can I just say one thing about that email, Suarez? When I looked at his name, I couldn't see it properly because it's quite blurred, isn't it? I know it's sort of like, but it looks like to me, it's almost scribbled and it's E-O nail rather than E-mail, which could suggest executive order is nail in your coffin. It just looked a bit like that to me. The M looked like an O and an N.
Interesting.
E-O nail? It could be. I looked at that pretty closely, and I think John and I came to the conclusion that it had to be email, but I mean, it could be.
Yeah, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it properly from there.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's just the old penmanship where you had the M always had a leading. That's how I learned to do.
It does have a line on the bottom, though.
It does look like a nail, but again, like you said, penmanship.
It could be both. I mean, that's the thing. All of this stuff is close enough to make you wonder, but far enough away to make you go,
Yeah.
What would you say, Paul, before, or I think it was you, Paul? What does Suarez mean again?
Suarez as a surname means son of a warrior or a
Oh
warrior.
my God. Aren't there rumors that Trump is the son of a warrior, Patton? And if you know Patton's history, you know that he thinks he was reincarnated in all these Carthaginians and all these other wars as a warrior.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, when you go back in Patton's history, I think it was 1913 or 1916, Patton wrote a poem.
Yeah.
And you read that poem, you're like, wow, there's no freaking way this is an accident. And so, but what is necessary for that to be coordinated? That's more than 100 years ago.
Exactly.
And so John and I have found just hundreds of these things that go back 100 years.
Well, what if it's not going back 100 years? What if it's all time travel and they're controlling the narrative?
Well, but the thing is, you have to be careful, because unless you know that time travel exists, then that is a completely untenable explanation.
Well,
so
forget about time travel then. What about these guys? Again, we don't know if it's true or not, that say they've been regressed.
What do you mean by regressed?
Well, there are super soldiers and all these people who claim that they were 30 years old, 35 years old. It has to do a little bit with the Montauk Project, and if you deep dive into that, and they were brought back to when they were youngsters. They were regressed. I don't know. They put in another body. They have all these things where they say they can move the soul. They can. So what if in the 40s or the 50s or the 60s or even the 90s, they're able to regress some of these people to go back in time? So it's not technically time travel. It has to do with some kind of technology where you can access or have someone access these long ago times. And if you think about 100, 200, that's not that long.
I mean, you're saying a lot of things that require going back in time and changing things. But what I do personally when I do any kind of analysis is, if I don't understand a technology completely, I assume it's impossible.
Yeah, I get that.
Because here's why I do it. If I assume time travel is possible, then literally anything is possible.
Right. And you can't go by that.
Right. And so, or let's say I believe full on magic exists, where you can just like break the rules of physics. Then anything is possible. Right. And so those explanations end up with zero value, because, okay, well, if that's the case, then there's dandelions that are running Jupiter. Right. I mean, like, right. So also the cost of making something up and getting people to believe it is zero. You literally just have to say shit. Right. So when you see these people on the internet that are putting out these theories about, oh, I think this happened, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, they could just be making stuff up. So if you don't understand the mechanics of how something would work, then it could just be somebody saying something, and the cost of that is zero. So like for example, there's tons of narratives out there about Project Monarch and the MK Ultra stuff, right? But we don't know if any of that is actually true. We just know a lot of people are saying stuff. So how would that work, and what would the motives be of the people behind it? And so when you start trying to fit those things into the overall spectrum of stuff that you see, if it doesn't fit because there's no good motive for it, or there's a better theory that does fit, then the other theory is probably correct, because the cost of making stuff like that up is zero.
But wouldn't that kind of tie in with what we were talking about before, having to do with the Mandela effect? Like, they changed what people believe. So I just feel
so technically they didn't change what people believe. Technically they put out a bunch of misinformation and people bought it. But the choice to buy it was the receiver of the information, not the people putting it out. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of people that believe that there's this Mandela effect is real, simply because they haven't been proven wrong by somebody who has realized that, yeah, it's just somebody making you think that. And a lot of what they do in these narratives is they put out information just to get you to waste your time so you're not dangerous.
That's true too.
right? So if you're running around telling everybody about, you know, some black project that you know is correct because you saw a PDF of a document that was declassified in 1963, right? You're not shooting politicians in the head because you're busy running around trying to convince everybody that you're right. Okay, that in itself is a motive, it is an objective that's plausible for the people who run the world to get people to not be dangerous.
Yeah.
Is to just bury them in misinformation because it disables them. They just run around and try to convince each other that they're right.
Well, you could say that about the Q drops, couldn't you? Really, because it has kept
absolutely
a lot of us busy. And, you know, people talk about Operation Trust and things like this, and, you know, I've looked into it a lot. But we have been awakening humanity with Q drops for a coming period of time.
Yes.
But also, we've
been. But awakening
them
to what? Is it awakening them to actual reality, or is it awakening them to a narrative that gets them through a transition?
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah.
But maybe. But also, if you say, what are you awakening them to? Well, let's forget about the facts. You're getting them to use their mind. I would say that's the best part of the Q operation is to just say, stop looking there, look inside, have discernment, trust your relationship with your creator.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the whole point of the Socratic method.
But the thing is, let's say you do a whole bunch of research, and I mean, one of the things I see people doing is they make all sorts of assumptions about Q drops, and they read things into the Q drops that aren't there. Yeah. So, for example, one of my favorite pet peeves about the Q drops is when people say, "Oh, nobody can stop what is coming." That's what's called a deepity. It was coined by Dan Dennett. It actually says nothing, because whatever's coming is going to happen, even if you don't know what it is or you misunderstand what it is. Everybody's assuming that what's coming is justice. Q didn't say that.
Right. But not all of us. Some of us just believe what is coming, meaning maybe the Great Awakening, people starting to be more aware.
Or maybe it's mass genocide. Like, who knows? Because nobody can stop what's coming. Doesn't say what's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's always true. No matter what is coming, that is true. So that's just an example. There's thousands of things in the Q drops where people are making tons of assumptions on wording, and they're reading things into it. And as far as I can tell, the Q drops are structured to get people to do that. So is digging into all the stuff that everybody else is saying about Q actually getting anybody anywhere closer to the truth, or is it just getting them to dig through a massive mountain of stuff? And yes, it does get them to think, it does get them to dig in and to do research and stuff, but that doesn't mean you're getting closer to the truth. Right. It means you're getting what you're allowed to see.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. Yeah.
It's no different. I mean, look, all the stuff that we're saying, it falls into that same category. We're not any different than anybody else saying, well, this is what we think is going on. This could all be bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So we're not holding ourselves and saying, well, we're a different standard. This, we don't really believe that.
We do have a different standard in one respect, in that we constantly say, we don't know.
Yes.
Neither does anybody else. But everybody else is running around acting like they know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think one of the points of the Q drops was, and us digging into it, was we were all wrong, but we've all had to learn from our mistakes. You know, fucking date fagging and all that stuff. We know what's going to happen. Scooby-Doo ending. Joe Biden's going to have his mask taken. You know, all this stuff we were saying. And I know that we lost a lot of our friends and families during that period, because when the things we were saying were going to happen didn't happen.
Right.
Oh, yeah. What's going to happen next then? And it was like it was a learning curve for all of us.
Look at the amount of effort that certain things that are undeniable, like for example, right now, if you look at those two eclipse paths that cross the country, right?
Nineveh, and
on one of them, there's a whole bunch of towns called Nineveh. On the other one, there's a whole bunch of towns called Salem, and the density of those towns across the rest of the country is not high. Someone planned to put those towns there. like 150 years in advance. That happened. That is a fact. That means someone had agency to do that. Someone with a tremendous amount of power. Why?
Or it was pure coincidence.
Yeah, but the odds of the coincidence.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's kind of the thing, isn't it?
Right. But that's where we're sitting. Yes, we will acknowledge that. Yeah, all this stuff could be coincidence, but you start adding zeros. You start multiplying all the odds of these things together, and you just get mathematically impossible really quick.
Yeah.
So Q is definitely like that. But when you look at the media, add a whole bunch of zeros, add 50 zeros to it. That's what's in the media. So I think Q is kind of an on-ramp. Like if you keep pushing like John and I did, you'll get to a bunch of rabbit holes that are going to blow your mind. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, why are we even doing this? And it's like, well, what else should we do? Like, if you just get very philosophical, what do we like? Maybe I should be just spending all my time growing a garden, like.
Go back to what General Flynn says. He says, control what you can control and let someone else handle the rest.
Yeah. It is
and if everybody did that, we wouldn't have a problem.
That's
the problem is when somebody says, oh, this guy in Hollywood's raping children when he has no freaking evidence, right? You know what happens? Some guy decides to be a hero and he picks up an AR.
Yeah.
But if you can distract everybody by trying to prove they're right on stuff like this, and you can give them a narrative and then you dump a bunch of crap in the air to sedate everyone, then you can avoid that.
Yeah. And
that gives you a narrative that has all the motive, the access, and all these things. Like we only have to assume a few really, really high-tech things that we're not aware of. And I'm not talking about magical stuff. You can actually figure out how these things must work. To get to the point where, yeah, they actually could do this. It's mind-bending to think what's necessary for that to be the case. But if you go back through history and you go all the way back to the Egyptians and the Mesopotamians, there's a single pattern through that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
the more you
mind-bending.
look into it, the more plausible it becomes, isn't it?
Yeah, and the more crazy you appear to people who haven't done all the research.
Oh,
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, that's so true.
Which, by the way, the stuff I was saying about those infinite possibilities and making assumptions, you can see evidence of this in the Epic of Gilgamesh and the Epic of Atrahasis.
Yep.
If you look at people's narratives online, they talk about aliens and they talk about all, the Nephilim and giants and all these things. And when you read the Epic of Atrahasis and the Epic of Gilgamesh, where these people who are pushing these narratives are claiming that this information comes from, that stuff's not there.
No.
It's just not there. So you have people saying it's there, and then it's not there.
What do you mean it's not there? Like where?
So they'll say, well, the Epic of Gilgamesh says that the aliens did this, and there's the Nephilim, and there's the gods, and right? And you go back and actually read the Epic of Gilgamesh, and it just doesn't say those things.
Really?
Yeah. So what happens is the average person sees some guy who looks like he knows what he's talking about, who says he's done billions of hours of research, and they say, well, he must be right. So it does say these things. So then they run around and tell everybody else that that's what it says. Okay. But if you check for yourself and read the Epic of Gilgamesh, you find out that no, it doesn't talk about aliens.
Okay.
It doesn't talk about any of these things. This guy's talking out of his ass. Right. So that in itself is evidence that there are people all over the place putting out false information, telling you this is what this means. The Smith-Mundt Act is another one. Everyone's running around saying the Smith-Mundt Act made propaganda illegal. It did not.
Nope.
Full stop. And there are law firms lying about it. The law firms aren't dumb enough to know that they aren't mistaken. So yeah, there's a shit ton of misinformation out there.
Oh yeah, most of the stuff people know or think they know is just parroted information.
Yep.
Isn't it? Some bloke down the block.
Almost all of it.
Yeah.
That's probably the most mind-bending thing about this is just an attribute of mass human behavior. People just believe shit and tell their friends about it.
Yeah. Well, I think the difference with us lot is that we don't believe any of it, which is why we spend so much time looking into it. And if we didn't enjoy it, we wouldn't do it, would we, really?
This is true.
I've stopped doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm on Telegram every day, and there's just so many messages of constant news. And although some of it's interesting, like I've said to you before, I've been in the last 6 years, I've been away camping 4 times. And the 4 times I looked at my phone a bit. First, took my laptop the first time and all that, have a quick look. And then I just stopped bothering and all that. And when I came back 6, 7 days later, nothing had changed. Not in the whole scheme of things.
Yeah. I think it's been that way for 6,000 years.
Yeah.
It probably has been.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't know about you guys, but when I take a day off or 2 from my phone, don't you feel great? I feel so free and great. And then you get on it and there's the curiosity to want to see what's going on. And then I don't know, I feel like a bit of a downer. Like I'm just like, okay, still this. Okay, that.
Well, also, like when people look online to see what's going on, they think they see what's going on. But does any of this stuff actually happen the way that it's said to have happened?
Right.
Or is it just news stories there to get you to feel like you know what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I post hardly any footage of the stuff coming out of Iran and all the things we're saying because it's just I can't prove any of it. And we've seen so much fakery of stuff coming out of Ukraine that's not happening, and stuff coming out of here that's not happening. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's an accident that they're showcasing all these amazing synthetic videos of what AI produces.
Yes.
Do you think the military couldn't do that 20 years ago?
Yeah.
If the military could do that 20 years ago, you can't trust a single thing you've seen.
That's right.
Exactly. I mean, look at Bill and Hillary just testifying. You don't know that's just happened. That could have been done a few years back.
Yeah.
That's almost scary to think about because then you're like, what's really true?
Well,
and these other videos that are surfacing, like if you ever look at YouTube, right, it has nothing to do with politics, geopolitical situation. They have these videos now where they show like then, and it has like an actress, so she's like 20, and it's all AI showing what she looks like at 80, and it's just so crazy what's being done. So you're absolutely right. If they're showing us they can do this in these ways, what were they doing for the last God knows how long?
well, so here's the thing. What I just said is if the military could do this 20 years ago and they have PSYOP groups, then they could have been just synthesizing everything, right? But it's worse, because what if the people who are creating this narrative that the military could have done this 20 years ago and you can't trust anything?
Yeah.
What if that in itself is a narrative? And it's much larger. That's what John and I have essentially, we think we found, is this goes back 6,000 years.
Yeah.
Like it's always been a show. And the reason it's a show is because people generally don't think.
And isn't there a theory? That this is an area I don't really know, but where they've said that AI is ultimately always been around. It's not like this new thing that came around the last, as far as people think, like the last 4 or 5 years, with Grok and
yeah. What I'll say about that is I was in the high tech industry in software for 35 years. Well, 45 really. At the top of the field. I mean, we were doing stuff that was that nobody else was doing. And I've seen how fast a good team of engineers can develop technology. And I had serious budgetary constraints. Like we were constantly limited by resources. If the people who ran the world, no matter what the time frame is, whether it's 6,000 years ago or 100 years ago, right? If they had unlimited resources and access to the smartest people in the world, how long would it take to develop AI? What do you need? You need a lathe, you need electricity, you need, let's say, steam power, and then you get into magnetics, and then you need vacuum chambers, and you need semiconductors. How many years would all of that take to develop? It's not that long. It doesn't take 6,000 years.
Right. And what if it's longer? I mean, what if this, we have these ideas that there were a lot of other civilizations before us now here. What if they have something 3,000 years ago? I mean,
it's free to say stuff. I've seen no credible evidence, or that I would call credible evidence, that there are alternate civilizations that were covered up. What I do see is I see a very high potential for there to have been completely, black operation, high-tech advancement behind the scenes in the historical timeline we've been given.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, the people who run the world had extreme high tech a long time ago. Was it hundreds of years ago? Was it thousands of years ago? I personally think it was thousands of years ago. And I think the people who ran the world were looking at the human species and going, oh my God, how do we fix this? Because you can't just say, okay, we're going to fix all the problems.
Yeah.
Right? There's all sorts of reasons why. So they had to figure out a way, okay, how do we get the population to not hurt themselves, to actually advance without killing civilization? And by the way, we're lying to everybody about civilization while we're doing it, because there's no better way to do it. I mean, that's what you have to get your head around. And I don't think most people are capable of getting their head around that.
No, it's too scary. It really is. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to fear, really.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
Almost everything is fear backed.
I would just add one thing to riff on what you said earlier, Elisa, which is that, you take this time away and you feel good, and then you come back and you're like, I don't even know what's real. Well, what's real is what's right in front of you. It's your family, your friends, your whatever you do for work, whatever you do for fun. That's about all you really got. And I stopped. I haven't posted on X in any meaningful way in probably a month since I went quail hunting, and I took the time to go quail hunting, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. And then it just felt so good to not be constantly checking and seeing what the headlines were, because the headlines don't matter. And not only that, so I took like 2 weeks off, and I came back and it was like, it was all the same shit.
Yeah.
All the same shit, different chew toy.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this isn't really helping.
We also call them crib toys.
Yeah. Well, it's the stuff where people want to spin out over. I mean, the Epstein files. Well, are we going to find out about those? I don't fucking know. But I know
if Epstein is who they say he is.
Right.
Right. I don't know, and honestly, I don't really even think I care. I mean, because how does any of what is happening right now in the world, how does anything really affect my day-to-day, hour-to-hour life? Kind of doesn't. I mean, one can take
a response to that motivates people is fear. Oh, but what if this happens and we all die? Well, look at history. It hasn't happened like that.
Right.
I mean, if there were bad guys with really bad weapons, don't you think enormous chunks of the population would be dead?
Yep.
It would seem that way.
Certainly wouldn't be digging on things and being taught how to use your gray matter.
No, and that's all fear is, isn't it? Fear is thinking about something that hasn't happened.
Right.
That's all it boils down to.
You're imagining a predator in the bush and choosing to react to that delusion, because historically that kept people alive. So it's a very low cost error to make in a normal environment. But we're not in a normal environment. We're in a civilized environment. That is a completely abnormal environment.
Yeah.
Civilized.
Mark Twain, I wanted to get this exact quote. I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened.
Yep.
I mean, this is how true is that? It's like you could spend your whole time worrying about what might happen.
Yeah. Well, look at all these nons complain about all the liberals saying, "Oh, Trump's gonna, ruin the world. He's a terrible guy," right? Well, okay, there's that fear. But the same thing exists in the Anon community. They don't know that these bad guys are actually even there, and there's a lot of evidence that they're not. Like, look at Barack Obama, bad guy, right? Mm-hmm. Well, in December of 2009, he signed an executive order that no bad guy would ever sign without getting shot in the head immediately.
Yep.
What? How'd that happen?
But was he controlled by good guys?
Well, then he's not a bad guy.
What if he isn't a bad guy?
No, I'm saying that's the possibility. Exactly.
See, you see what I'm saying? There's hundreds of those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
well, there's
but the Anons run around and they don't look at those things. They ignore anything that doesn't agree with their worldview because that's what people do. That's called cognitive dissonance.
Right.
Yeah, there's discussion about Epstein in the same boat, i.e., being the greatest sting operation you've ever seen.
Yeah, that's a narrative I think that's going to stick. But is it true?
Is he really a person too? Like, I mean, I know people say he was, but
yeah, I think he's an actor.
Osama bin Laden, right?
Yeah.
Tim Osmond.
That's what I mean. Like,
yeah, but is Tim Osmond just another narrative?
Right.
Right.
You don't know. I mean, I have a PDF of a scanned document from 1963 that says that JFK was briefed on some classified stuff.
64, you mean?
After he died. Yeah. Do I believe he was alive or not? Hell, I don't know.
Right.
The PDF I have is really cheap to fake.
Well, there's a whole documentary on how he lived.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of narratives out there that you can look at and say, this narrative can't be true.
Right.
I mean, approximately all of the narratives are false. That's, I guess, what I'm trying to say is when John and I have dug into so much of this stuff and gone, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. And that's how almost all of it is. So then the question becomes, well, then what is true? And the answer, I think, is you're not going to find out.
I don't know.
You're not going to know the truth.
Well, I hope we will at some stage. But
I hope so too. I'm not going to bank on it, but I hope so.
Yeah, I wouldn't bank on it. And the reason I say that is because if you actually just go out and watch human behavior, there's a reason the truth is concealed.
Yeah, I understand that. Understand that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if they told people what the actual truth, it would be so horrifying that it would cause all sorts of problems that don't need to be there.
100%.
It's sort of like giving a kid a hand grenade and saying, "No, don't pull the pin."
Right.
And people might want to just lie to the kid and say, "Yeah, there's no hand grenades."
Yeah.
Or it's like, here's the hand grenade, but it's you don't tell the kid it's inert. Just don't pull the pin. I don't know.
Yeah. I think if the average person was told what's actually going on, I don't think they'd believe it.
Right.
Peter's friend Wendy says, the more I'm hearing, the more I want to just get out and do my garden.
Yep. Do it.
Seriously, the more that I look at headlines, the more that I peruse X, the more it's like, man, I must have shit to do around the house. I must have something to do.
I put my phone on silent, put it in airplane mode every night, just out of habit. And it gets to 7 o'clock in the evening the next day sometimes, and I look at my phone and I think, fucking hell, I haven't looked at it all day. It's still on airplane mode. Do you know what I mean? It hasn't phased me in the slightest.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting back out now. The weather's nice. I'll wear a bit of lycra, so I go out and do a bit of cycling. But I've been out the last 2 days, and it's been nice. It's just getting out there in nature, listening to the birds. Spring again. It's warming up. It's nice, beautiful.
Yep. Yeah. That's I think you got to be able to find peace in and amongst the inherent uncertainty. Like humans are not great, I think, in general, operating in a gray, operating in this, okay, we don't really know what's going on. And people want to find, okay, I need somebody to tell me what's going on. I need somebody to tell me the truth.
Yeah. Most of the population needs to be told what's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
And in a way, that's kind of like, we can never go back to that. I know the steak tastes good. I know how much this steak tastes really awesome. And I also know it's not real. We're not in a place where we know that where we can believe that steak is really steak. I'm referring to the Matrix scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to talk to you about that because I want to find out where you live in the States, because I haven't watched your interview with Beer yet, but it sounds like you know how to cook a really, really good steak.
John is a fantastic chef.
I'm not trained, and I fuck up as much as I make good stuff, but I love to cook. It's one of my Zen things. It's one of a few things that I can do and be fully present. And it starts with like right now, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to make this weekend. I don't know yet. I tend to look for stuff that is challenging, has a large amount of prep, or has some technique that I've never figured out. And so I kind of like a challenge, but yeah, I love to cook. So yeah, steak I can do. That I can do well.
Your point. Oh, I was going to say before we were talking about.
It just sounds a bit nicer at the moment, doesn't it? Cooking a nice bit of steak and preparing it all and getting everything to go with it, all the trimmings, rather than going on the internet looking to find out where all these road signs are.
Yeah.
Now.
I was just going to agree with that.
Yes.
You were saying like the only thing we really have control or whatever is, and honestly, like Stu knows this, like I get such joy of planning my meals for the week, getting all the ingredients, like sitting there with my daughter and putting, like, it really is the simple things in life, right?
That's
and
life. Yeah.
It's just the simple things like, okay, I'm going to try this recipe. I'm going to try that. And that's just the example of cooking. Other people have different things, but
yeah,
you're right. It's very present. It's very gratifying, right? Especially when other people eat your food and you're feeding them and they're enjoying it and they feel nourished. And so that's probably the answer in a way. It's just what's in our purview that gives us the most joy.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, I like to cook just to see if I can do something like that. I showed a picture of a Wellington yesterday on Scott's show, and that was 6 years in the making. I've made good Wellingtons, but that one was super ornate and way more effort than I've ever put into something. That was like a 5-day process from start to finish, but it doesn't have to be that long. I just chose to stretch it out because I love it. But yeah, I get tremendous joy out of that. And even doing something simple like a steak, like, okay, fairly simple. I know what I'm doing. I could probably do it with my eyes closed, except I really like paying full on attention to it because I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it. First of all, I don't want to fuck it up. Even a slight scorch on there, I'm like, okay, the steak's all great, but I should have flipped it sooner. I didn't pay attention. I got distracted. So every little technicality thing, I'm not a detail oriented person for the most part. But when it comes to cooking, I get that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of my joys.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, that's nearly 3 hours. What a superb show. Let's just finish with a bit of a laugh, actually. I was listening to you with Rambo the other night, you two. You're talking about Tom Cruise, yeah? Go on. What are you saying about Tom?
Center tooth.
Hold up, where is it? There. Because people, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Tom Cruise has a center tooth.
Yes. It's right in the center of his face.
Oh my God.
That is no bullshit. That is exactly who he is. Like that isn't photoshopped.
Yeah, I see you had other bricks up with people drawing lines down the middle. Look, there's loads of pictures. Everyone will be Googling pictures of Tom Cruise now.
And just Google Tom Cruise center tooth, and you'll get in the image search. You'll get one where it shows a line straight down his face, bisecting that tooth perfectly. It's so good.
Amazing. Well, should we wrap it up there then, guys?
Yeah.
Almost
Thank
3
you so
hours.
much for coming on.
Yeah, this was great. Always is.
Lots of fun.
We'll have a chat with you, and I know you're busy for the next few weeks, John, aren't you, or something? But we'll arrange to get you on sometime in the future, and that'd be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we were talking earlier about how it's really hard to get your head around this stuff because there's so much detail and so much information, and there's no easy way to explain it, like with an elevator conversation. You can't do it in a short amount of time. Do you get more of a sense of that now after having gone through all your base? Like, how would you explain that to somebody without going through the details? You can't do it. That's the problem, is nobody who hasn't sat through and really thought about each little piece is going to get the macro view of this stuff. You can't condense it for them because they just won't believe it.
No, but you do find that in everything. It doesn't matter how much we've tried to read people or stuff. If people don't want to go through the details themselves, the truth is learned, never told. If they don't want to look into these things themselves,
right,
they're never going to awaken or have a different opinion to the one they've already got.
Yeah, and maybe the best way to deal with most of the population who's not going to do those things is to just give them a narrative that makes them not dangerous.
Well, you know, it's interesting you say that, because we've talked to people and have guests, and there are some people who are so diametrically opposed to lying and not telling the truth to people. Right. And I think
parents do it with their kids all the time.
Very noble. I think it's a noble thing to say.
Yeah, but it's also naive. But
I just think if you really knew human nature, even like a little bit, right? If you're in business, if you're a coach, if you get a sense of what human nature is all about, right? Yeah. Then you wouldn't possibly think it's not like intentionally wanting to lie to hurt someone, but everybody goes back to that idea. Oh, it's free will. You just tell everybody and then they make their choice. I'm like, I don't think it's that simple.
Yeah, but what if most of the population would make bad choices and more people would die?
Well, yeah.
I mean, parents lie to their kids all the time.
Right.
So how is that okay, but it's not okay for an extremely powerful faction that runs the world to lie to the population to protect them?
I mean, you don't have to sell me, but I'm saying there's just a lot of people who feel it's deceptive and it's wrong. And
well, it is deceptive.
But I don't know if it's
deception. Deception doesn't necessarily have to be negative. That's what they don't understand. Is there is deception for positive purposes, and you can come up with really easy scenarios that everybody understands where that's the case, and yet they still don't want to believe it because they don't want to believe that they're one of the kids that needs to be lied to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a picture right now. Kate Carter mentioned something about steak. She wished she knew how to cook steak tartare, which is
that.
Yeah, which is really funny. You know, there is an art to tartare though. And I made this with my daughter. This is like Christmas, like a year ago. But it is so good. If you don't like raw meat, or if you don't like rare, you're probably not going to like steak tartare. But critical is the mix that you use. Like there's got to be some shallot in there and some onion, but you need some acidity in there to balance stuff out. So yeah, this is where I took caper berries and I toasted them in oil, so they're kind of crunchy, but they're not bitter. And then I cured the egg yolk in tamari for like 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
So the egg yolk kind of sets and it has a little bit of saltiness to it. Yeah, it was, and then I crisped up some little shallot bits, or shallots, as I should say, right? Herbs.
Herbs and shallots.
Herbs. Yeah. So
beautifully plated.
Yeah.
Well, John, if you're not like Colonel Saunders and don't mind giving your recipe away, I've got Kate's email address. So if you want to send her the recipe, I'll forward it on for you.
Yeah, I will. Absolutely, I will. It's actually, it was a riff on what somebody I had seen. This is how I choose how I'm going to do something. I'll find a couple different recipes and I'll see what elements they put in, and there's a lot of similar stuff. And then I might mix up some of the ratios or whatever. But yeah, I've never invented the wheel. I'm not a recipe development guy. That's not me.
Well, it's a good thing about cooking, though, isn't it? It's about taste. So you might cook something to someone else's recipe and think, I need a bit of chili in that, actually. And you redo it yourself.
Well, that's the difference between a cook and a chef. You know, a chef uses their own, like they add a little bit of their own feeling to it, as opposed to just following straight on a recipe where you're cooking it.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
Right, guys.
Everyone loved that in the chat today. So
lots of love.
Much love. Where we go, when we go all. Have a great weekend coming up. And we'll see you next time. Love to everyone in the chat.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
In a world flooded with noise, clarity has become rare. People are questioning what they're told and searching for something real. Mr. Heal's modern wellness meets old school remedies. CBD tinctures, methylene blue, gummies and edibles, THC-free wellness, and functional remedies crafted with old-school care and modern precision. Biozox, a trusted source for ivermectin and fenbendazole. Biozox, believe your health decisions should be yours, not dictated by politicians or big pharma. Crafted with purpose and precision, Freedom Forged Coffee. Coffee, cacao and mushroom tinctures. Small batch roasted coffee, rich cacao and functional mushrooms crafted with purpose. Verity Metals, redefining what precious metals investing should be. Why choose Verity Metals? We're not just another gold dealer. We're a trusted retirement partner. Our clients choose us because we lead with education, integrity, and transparency. Medical bills are the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States, accounting for 66.5% of bankruptcies. We can all agree the healthcare system is broken. There is an alternative: impact health sharing, which Yahoo News is calling the disruptor in the $4.6 trillion healthcare system. For more information, visit patriotsacrossthepond.com.